it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined as always by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
Yep.
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon. He's got 99 problems, but bananas ain't one. The Sandman. Hack, how the hell's it going today?
Oh my God, honestly, folks, I think I have a concussion. I had a huge accident today. I blacked out. I woke up. There was ambulance people there, cops, tow trucks, everything, just saying. So, if I say something stupid, more than my usual stupidness, it's because of this huge accident.
What kind of accident?
Stop.
Oh my God, it was huge. This lady broadsided me coming out of her driveway at least 4 or 5 miles an hour.
All right, so just to walk the audience through here, I'm in the office today. Usually I work from home, and I start to get some text from my buddy Matt, and he sends me a picture of a kendo stick in a car that's signed, and then he also texts me, Hack was in an accident. Now, mind you, Matt is just a friend of mine. He would have no way of knowing this. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then apparently his buddy and friend of the show, Jim, a local cop...
It was bad. There was helicopters everywhere. They were getting ready to airlift me. I was like, no, I think I'll be okay.
Stop.
Just saying.
I got an offender bender, and the cop that comes to the scene ends up being a fan of the show. Shouts out to Jim.
Huge fan. All right, Jim.
He's written in before, so yeah, that was quite the interesting afternoon. My phone was blowing up.
Was it the helicopter from the what was it? What was the I lost it. The match, the WCW match.
The junkyard.
Yeah, the junkyard. The helicopter from the junkyard match.
Oh man, no, I'm glad to hear you're doing all right though, Hack, and that everything's all right, and hopefully.
What? I'm hearing the next. That's an inside joke.
That's an inside joke between us. But I knew last night, guys, we had the opportunity to watch AEW's 250th Dynamite. Obviously, the opener between Will Ospreay and MJF was certainly an interesting match. What did you guys think of the match, Ali? What did you think of that?
I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Oh, really?
I mean... It's a good match. Like, I like both of them, but to me, I just saw like.
What did you see?
Well,
what did you pick up?
Part of it is, I don't think it needed to go an hour. If you were going to do what you did, you could have got it done in a half hour. And
agreed.
And it's just like I like long matches and everything, but to a point, it's like, what is Ospreay's arm going to fall off?
Yeah.
Like he can't. You physically can't use your arm, like, after what was done to you for that long a time. Like, I mean, and he sold it with, like, the figure four and everything, like you're selling it, but even then, you're going 30 minutes past what you just did and still doing high spots. Like, I don't know. I think it just went a little too long for me.
I loved it. I thought it was a tremendous match. Obviously,
Yeah, well, you're obviously, like... blind or something.
No, you didn't like it though.
No. Well, let's hear Ty. Ty's going to say the same thing that Oliver's going to say, which I know is the same thing that we're all thinking.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ty. What do you got to say about the match?
It was good. It was just. It was too long because it was repetitive. There was
Ospreay going to the second rope, MJF hitting the ropes.
Yeah, so I understand storytelling in the match when you have a spot and then you come back to a spot later in the match in order you're telling the story, right? You're like, oh, boom, you got me the first time, not getting me this time. I understand that. It just, there was too many repetitive spots for me, and then it got to a point where it was, false, long pause, false, long pause. Like, it just got a little, like, I thought it was good on the whole. They were setting it up. The story was very good, very well done. Those two working together, the work's good. Obviously, it just fell off for me in some spots where I'm like, all right, guys, like, come on. Yeah, like, I really liked some of the spots. It was just like too much of the same arm work or the same, and it's just like, I think everything. I just feel like the match could have been condensed.
Wow, I'm surprised.
And because then the time limit really could have been into play, because it's only a half-hour time limit, and you're beating the shit out of each other, and you still could have did that finish.
But I'm surprised neither one of you guys mentioned that they're working the right leg, they're working the left leg, they're working the right leg, they're working the left leg. What was going on there? MJF would literally work his right leg, shoot him in, and then dive at his left leg.
Yeah, it happened twice. Yeah, it happened twice.
I don't know. To me, I honestly thought it happened like 4 or 5 times, to where they were working the one leg, working the other leg, and I get it. I worked with Bam Bam Bigelow very, very, very early in my career for the Pitbulls. They were doing a show in like Hampton, New Jersey, wherever the Pitbulls are from. I'm going to say Hampton, but it's not really exactly that. And Bigelow came in. I got less than like 10 probably matches under me, and he had a problem with his right leg. He goes, well, we're going to work the right leg. I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. You know what I mean? But our match wasn't like that at all, but I can understand that, hey, if a guy's right leg is actually hurt, then yes, work that leg. You know what I mean? But then when the other guy works that leg for 10 minutes throughout, now, I'm not saying 10 minutes in a row, but probably literally 10 minutes, you know what I mean, in their rest times or something, he had that leg grabbed, and then he would go to the other leg, and then they would go to the shoulder. You know what I mean? You got an hour out there. I ain't ever done an hour. I don't want to do an hour. I never wanted to do an hour because that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. But to me, the basics of the match were incredible, and I liked it a lot because that MJF showed me something. I didn't know that MJF could work like that with a guy like that. Now, maybe it's a Rob Van Dam thing where Rob Van Dam can pull guys up to his level and make guys look really, really good. But to me, it was like MJF knew what the hell he was doing out there. And,
yeah.
And that made me feel better about liking him more so much, because he was all Mike like before, you know what I mean? And now when you see a match like that, you're like, yeah, this kid's got it all.
Oh, I think anytime MJF gets the chance to showcase his actual in-ring abilities, he really goes above and beyond, and sometimes he really shows out.
He can really do stuff that like people wouldn't think. Like
I didn't know what he could do because I never saw him against that caliber.
My favorite spot in the match is MJF. Ospreay kind of takes him down. He avoids the dive, and then he throws him back in the ring. And MJF points to his head like he's a smart guy. And then out comes Ospreay with a flying.
He walks around the corner. Boom. And then hits him with the other one.
Hits him with the. I was like, man, that's a genius spot. Obviously, like when you're going an hour, you kind of know at a certain point, oh, they're going an hour. Like you felt it. You know, after they did the crowd brawling section and the little kid was punching MJF, I was like,
I think I yelled to the boys because we were watching it together, and I was like, I think this is going to time limit.
Yeah. So, but I really enjoyed the finish, though. I think, you do the fuck finish with the ring and everything, and I thought the timing of that fuck finish, getting down to the last second, I absolutely loved the finish. I thought it was right for business.
I thought the finish was great.
Yeah,
I just really wish the match was shorter.
Right.
They could have actually. The first thing I was going to say, Ollie, in one of my notes was, what did they do in 60 that they couldn't do in 30
or 38? You know what I mean? Go extra long, but just end it there. And I don't know,
but is Ospreay on his way? All right, now think about this. Ospreay's the freaking man, right? He lost the Swerve. Now he loses to MJF. Is he taking time off or what?
No, they're coming into Wembley.
They're going to do Wembley. They're going to do the rematch at Wembley, and it's going to be big.
What, him and MJF?
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think you run it right back and you do it again.
I know, but wow. Well, to me, Will Ospreay losing those. All right, get the swerve thing.
Lose it to win it back at Wembley.
At Wembley, you give him a big moment at Wembley, winning it back against the guy who made it renegade last year.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like him losing the 2 matches in a row.
No, but he
just like that. But I get it for the ends to the means.
Right,
I don't
but
think
he
it hurts
means
him.
to the ends.
I don't think he's any hurt.
But he lost on a fuck finish.
Right.
Like he got cheated out. He got cheated out of the title. So him winning it back is like retribution.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
My biggest issue with the match is this story that they're doing with Ospreay being hesitant to hit the Tiger Driver.
I am not liking it either.
What was that?
I understand that if you're going up against a face like Swerve, you don't want to hit a face with the Tiger Driver, but this is MJF who just killed Garcia, and you're apparently coming out for retribution against him. Why would you hesitate to put him in the dirt? You know what I mean?
Well, he hesitated taking a screwdriver, right, Ty?
But that's one thing.
Yes.
Well, isn't it both the same?
But he also hesitated on the Tiger Driver in that match as well. So it's like, I get it if you're doing that to avoid doing that to a face, because the story is this move's so dangerous, you're not going to pull it out. And I think that's going to be the finish of the Wembley match, is he hits MJF with that for the win. But at the same time,
that makes sense.
You know, like I think that's going to be the finish of Wembley,
because he hit Danielson with that move and quote unquote hurt Danielson, so he took it out of his repertoire. He said he wasn't doing it anymore, and then he ended up doing it to
okay, now all right, the backstory.
Yeah, and then he ended up doing it to I forget who, but then he hesitated again to do it to somebody, and then now he hesitates. It's like
he hasn't done it since Danielson. He's done the Stormbreaker move.
If he was in Japan, would he hesitate with that move?
Well, this is the story they're doing.
Yeah,
I know, but in Japan, I mean, is the move like that dangerous?
Yeah,
well,
technically,
you're kind of dropping a dude right on his neck.
Yeah, it's the old Misawa finisher, super finisher of his.
Yeah,
I've seen him hit it 1,000 times.
And the only thing with that match, I mean, give Ospreay a ton of credit, because he worked MJF's match.
Yeah.
Ospreay can work any kind of match. He worked MJF's match.
Well, to me, I look at it as the exact opposite. I'm so glad you brought this up. Is that MJF worked the style that was his, and that he could. That you can't. You're doing an hour.
I think
you know what I'm saying. You're not going out like Ospreay in an hour, like boom, 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 boom.
What did you say, Oliver?
I said I think they kind of mixed it up with like both of what you were saying.
They each went a little bit to the other guy, middle kind of.
Yeah. My point is that MJF's bringing this, super heel, shit back, where he's rolling out of the ring, he's doing the cheating thing, throwing water on people.
Yes,
right.
I was watching Barry Windham against Kurt Hennig.
Right, and Ospreay went right along with every single thing that he does. That's why I kind of say that Ospreay took it along himself to do the MJF match, because Ospreay can work anything. You know what I'm saying?
No problem.
Right.
Like in Japan, and hard style for that.
Yeah. End of the day, the match.
That dude's a beast.
I mean,
street beast.
What was it? Danielson, Omega went like an hour. There's been a couple hour time limit matches where I never really got to a point where I was like, all right, guys, come on. This one just got to me where I was like,
I think the other thing in the match I could have used without is all of the trading near fall sequence that they did, where they're doing the roll up, reversal, this, backslide,
one, two, one, two, one, two, one,
right. I don't think the match needed that segment. The other thing I really loved about it is they really teased the table spot until they finally did it. So they each had a time where the guy was on the table, he rolled off, and then eventually you did it, and MJF removed. I love how Taz on commentary, I know, Hack, we always love ripping Taz, but him on commentary mentioning that he got the extra support by ripping off the top of the...
he didn't slip. He could not slip.
Yeah, that was really good commentary.
That, and if you noticed on that bump, just like Ospreay did on the Swerve Stomp table spot, he leaped up. He jumped up again. I don't know how he did it, laying flat on the table, but he leaped himself up again, so right as MJ hit him, it was like midair, then table. Super good.
The other thing I didn't really like about it, I don't know what you guys thought about this, was it was right before or right about when they went into one of the picture-in-pictures, is the trainer comes into the ring.
Picture-in-picture.
Well, when the trainer came, I didn't like the trainer. Why should the trainer be able to help pop your arm back in?
First of all, you don't pull his arm if it's out of the socket. You push it.
Yeah.
It's like the old Die Hard dude when in the movie where he's like slamming it against the wall maybe or something. Yeah. You don't pull it. That was horrible.
I just didn't like I get it.
I just don't like the fact that you have somebody coming out and fixing it during the match. Like, dude, if you're hurt, you're hurt.
Right.
Like, if your shoulder's out, you're out.
Yeah, I didn't care for that spot. I think that they shouldn't do that. Like, I get it in real sports. If a player leaves the game, he's going to get worked on by the trainer on the sidelines. But there's no stopping of the game in a wrestling match. Whatever.
I don't like the doctor dude in general. Like, he doesn't even look like a doctor. Like, they just like call him
he's
the
a
doctor.
legit doctor. He's a shoot doctor.
That dude looks like he could beat the shit out of 3/4 of that roster.
I know, he just comes out like all these during all these matches. That, like, it's like doesn't really bother me because I don't care about there being no disqualifications or like countouts or whatever. But it's like, can we just get some clarification on that if that's going to be the case? Like during like your championship matches,
right? They brawled in the crowd for
like,
and
there was no count, and then there was a count later.
They left the ring, went up the stairs, down the stairs,
put
whatever.
In the trash can.
Got a hot dog,
and then I think it was Ospreay goes over to grab MJF, and MJF says, "Oh, go break the count."
Yeah, I saw
that.
He
rolls in, breaks the count, comes around the other side. The ref's not counting ever until the end.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, there was that, I agree with you, Oliver. If you're going to have lax rules, which obviously ECW was all about having lax rules.
Yeah, it's like, just give us some clarification on what the parameters are of
Don't start counting match. 10 at the end in the last 4 minutes of the match.
They should have called a DQ for interference when that young girl punched him. That's what they should have.
Yeah.
That's what
Dude, that's bad. I'm glad you brought that up, too. That is not good. You should not be doing that.
What, encourage young fans
Encouraging fan participation. Not good. I guarantee that will never happen again.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a heat of the moment.
Like on the fly spot
type thing. Like, I don't think he's going to be like asking some big dude like one of us to be like, yo,
I know, but it makes some of those big dudes when they're drunk and you're out in the crowd.
I agree.
Hey, hold them. I'll get them.
I think in this case it's fine, but it's
not good at all in any perception of reality. It's not good.
It's a slippery slope for sure. Good
out.
I really enjoyed the match though, and I think it does set up business.
No, the match
future.
was great.
Yeah,
I'm just nitpicking with
we all are.
It's 50-50 for me.
Match is unbelievable.
Yeah, obviously the match is great, but we all have our ideas of what they could do differently, and you got
an hour out there, dude.
Yeah.
An hour is a long freaking time.
Well, I saw MJF this past...
I had to pee 3 times in that hour.
And also, too,
they need a porta potty for me to do an hour match.
They're going to do the rematch, so the rematch has to be an hour.
No, I think the rematch should go shorter.
See, I don't like that. I would rather the first match be shorter and the second match be the hour match.
So you would rather MJF beat him in 29 minutes and then him win it back in an hour match at Wembley?
Yes.
Okay.
There's so many...
I can't disagree.
Or a 45-minute match or whatever it's going to be. I think they got caught in themselves with the whole 250 episode of Dynamite, and they only had 3 matches scheduled on the show.
Agreed,
so it was like...
I love the idea of because we're in the dog days of summer. There's no sports competition on last night and tonight as well, and it's a really good idea. I've always thought UFC should put on a big card on one of these nights because you can dominate the sports landscape.
Right, yeah.
When the other night you're competing against all the major sports. That was a good idea to load up that Dynamite last night with a really 2 huge matches, and especially going long like they did. And it was their 250th show. They wanted to make a big deal out of it, and I think they did. But the rest of the show, to me, I know we talked about it a lot last week. What did you guys think of the follow up with Mariah May and Tony Storm?
I love Mariah coming out dressed as Tony.
I did too.
And doing the promo as her.
But
Mariah's killing it right now.
The promo to me wasn't as... I would have wanted it to be more hate-filled. It wasn't enough...
Dude, to me, it was her just out in the outfit and doing what she was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't care what she said.
No?
You know what I'm saying? But to me, it was her imitating her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole thing was.
Did you think it was...
She hasn't sowed her oats on a mic yet at all. You know what I'm saying? She's like a young babe in the woods. I'm like, yeah, girl, get in front of your mirror at home and start cutting promos.
Because I'm sure she didn't do a whole lot of talking in Japan. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
No,
But
you're
I would
American,
assume
they're
an American is not cutting a whole lot of promos in Japan.
Right.
Correct. The girls never
Yeah,
go.
for me, it was more like a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Or
than-
not an American. No,
Good job,
Australian.
Ty.
I thought it was. I wanted something a little harder of a follow up from that angle last week where you left them. Like I think they should have done package, couple things, couple
I
different
think
things. And
how they left it is good considering how hard
They
the
went
turn
the week
was.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if,
All
any-
right, that's a great
Yeah.
point too.
if
Right.
anything, I would have went.
Take the foot off the gas a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, I would have went shorter, like short, sweet. Like this is, like basically what I got. You know what I'm saying? Like short, sweet, to the point. Cut. Like I would have went a little bit shorter. Like I said, picture's worth 1,000 words. You're coming out there, you're showing it. Say blah blah blah. Boom. Cut.
Yo, so dude, now we have 2 matches sewn up for
3.
All right, what are the 3 now?
So we have Brian and Swerve for their world title.
okay.
We have Tony and Mariah, and I'm assuming it is MJF and Will Ospreay. They haven't announced
Okay.
it yet, but those are the 3 matches I think you could pencil in for Wembley.
Well, is Britt and Mercedes? Are they?
Oh, I would pencil that in as well. I think that,
Right.
4.
that's 4.
There ain't many left.
I would
There might
say
be 2 more matches,
I think
right?
we're going to get Young Bucks and Acclaimed. Just from the direction it seems like they're going, I think we get Young Bucks and Acclaimed.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know who Hangman works. I think Hangman.
No, I
is,
thought they announced that last week.
no, they didn't. He came out at the end.
But who would he work? Let's think about it.
He could work Jarrett. He could work Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, him and Jarrett.
Him and
makes
Jarrett.
sense.
Him and Darby. He could work Darby, but I think Darby might be saved for Jack Perry. So I'm not really.
Okada?
Okada, I don't know, because Hangman is with them right now.
I'm not necessarily
I know.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying Hangman, but I'm saying like where's
Who's
Okada's
coming
direction?
off of
like,
Okada could work Darby. I don't
But
know
coming
who
off of
Okada is.
Hangman coming back, do you guys think he's getting a push, or is he getting
Push.
that push, or is he getting that push to do a job to Okada, like Ty could say?
No, he's getting that push for Swerve. They're building up that Swerve program.
Are
with
you
him.
sure?
Yes, absolutely.
hate that.
I don't love it.
I love it.
I don't.
I do. I think it's.
Yeah, the Hangman can work his ass off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's not enough character there for me.
But he's just 0-3 against Swerve. It's over.
It's not over. It's come back. It's coming back.
But there's
Maybe he gets the pin on. Maybe he gets the pin on Swerve in the Blood and Guts match.
Maybe they're doing the in the WWE angle where the guy gets screwed all the time. What's his name?
Drew Mack. Yeah.
Maybe they're going to do that. He
With
goes
Hangman?
0 for 5 against them.
He could be.
You know what
Yeah. I mean, it's pushed him to a limit where he's
Yeah.
now a heel. And
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where they're going with it, but certainly they got Wembley coming up. It's in
So
about a month from
is
now.
Swerve a heel or a baby?
Swerve's a baby. Pure baby.
No.
It matters who he. Whoa. Now,
Well, him Danielson's that's gonna be it's
That's
baby
babyface match.
baby.
Yeah.
no, but I think if anything, Swerve could be the heel a little bit during that match.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I
got
think-
heel tendency.
He does.
And you heard how the crowd was with him and Ospreay. It was literally 50-50 to me.
Yes, it was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Swerve's like that dastardly baby.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's got that
Yeah,
edge.
he's Eddie
Yeah.
Guerrero, baby.
Yeah,
like
he's
the
got that
dastardly
edge.
baby.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, baby.
So I mean, it's certainly exciting to see where they're going with Wembley. Obviously, it's their big show of the year, and hopefully they get a full.
When
card.
is that?
It's August. I want to say 25th. It's on. It's on a Sunday. It'll be Sunday afternoon because it's airing live over in London. So that's
Well, it needs to be afternoon over here. 'cause
Yeah.
it's still
Night
on
here.
until
Exactly.
midnight.
yeah.
Start at 3 p.m. End at midnight.
It'll start in the afternoon, and we'll be the next day when
Yeah.
it's over. But no, it'll be a great show, I'm sure, and pretty excited for that one coming up. Coming up here on the show this week, we are reviewing. I know we mentioned Heatwave '97.
That nobody can find.
Now everybody can find this, so if you want to follow along to this week's episode, please start with ECW Hardcore TV Season 5 on Peacock. Episodes 28 through 31, and the reason.
All right, first of all, that doesn't sound like a pay-per-view to me. So why is he telling you to watch ECW hardcore TV and telling you to watch a pay-per-view at the same time. Please explain.
They never aired the full tape of this show, which I don't know why. Hack, do you have any memories of why this was not released
Well,
as like
no,
an
but
ECW
when I
tape?
went into scrolling, and I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? So I felt better today when Ty was doing it. He's like, "Yo, where did you find that crap?"
Well, this was an interesting one because
I will literally look for 30 seconds, and if I don't find it, I'm like, Ty, Howie, help.
well, no, you guys were able to find it, and this is like to me this.
No, we weren't able to find it. We never found the pay-per-view, so we're not
pay-per-view?
looking for the pay-per-view.
You guys want to watch Hardcore
We're
TV?
watching Hardcore
Season
TV.
5, episodes 28 through 31.
Okay.
This was never captured in a full release that I know of, but we wanted to cover this period of time post Barely Legal and the incredible angle involving Jerry Lawler and the WWF.
I forgot how good it was.
Oh,
when
my
I was
God.
watching it, it was really good.
So just to walk you guys through this a bit, so Tommy Dreamer has the nearly 2-year-long feud with Raven. And in this feud, he never captures a pinfall victory over Raven. Well, Raven is leaving to go to WCW, and at WrestlePalooza 97, in Raven's last night in the company, Tommy finally pins Raven. The crowd goes absolutely nuts. Lights on, lights off. RVD and Sabu are in the ring. You make the save, and then lights on, lights off again. Jerry Lawler is then in the ring. Hack,
What a pop that Jerry, dude, that was a pop.
the place came unglued.
Wow,
Because
yes.
I think everybody was saying to themselves, we will never see Jerry Lawler in
It
this
came
ring.
unglued, literally. I was in the ring. I'm getting goosebumps right now, and I got him when I was watching it. That what a pop!
Just incredible heat. And part of the layer of this, too, is a lot of the scuttlebutt at the time was RVD jumping ship to go work for either WWF or WCW. And he took on the moniker of Mr. Monday Night because of all the rumors at the time. Do you remember anything about RVD jumping ship at this point with any of the rumors? Or no?
No, but it was just monikering him Mr. Monday Night is such a great piece of brilliance.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? Because the other two companies are Monday night companies. You know, it was just brilliant.
And you're leaning into this all because you have Fonzie, who, you know, obviously worked in New York as a ref, and, you know, he's playing this heel character. And
Worked everywhere on the planet in some of the biggest matches that you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then Jerry Lawler's in this ring. Jerry Lawler, meanwhile, on commentary, whenever you guys would do something with WWF, you know, you had a couple of times where you guys invaded Raw or Paul E was on there. He always referred to ECW on television, on camera, as extremely crappy wrestling.
Great.
So the heat was
Great.
always there.
Great.
It just never was translated into an actual angle yet. Like, do you remember any...
Well, yeah, but you got to understand where they're doing it too. They're not doing it in Phoenix, Arizona. They're doing it in the Manhattan Center in New York.
Right.
Smart business.
A place where, you know, you guys are very popular in the Northeast. It just
Yeah.
makes sense. You're on here on the East Coast like that.
they were ready for it.
That's an ECW market. You know, like
course.
New York and Philly are like, you know, like this for ECW markets. So,
And the Manhattan Center's like maybe, I don't know if the Spectrum was there or whatever building was there. You got to understand the intimacy of the Manhattan Center made that even better. Instead of a huge building like 20,000 people where they're all like, hey, it's much better than 3,500 people losing their minds.
Yeah.
It was similar to the Elks Lodge.
yeah,
exactly.
Everybody on top of each other, kind of. So, I got to ask you, Hack, do you remember anything at the time when Lawler was coming in for this angle?
I had no idea.
Even being in the ring, you had no idea.
Dude, this is the way it was.
You
in
weren't
ECW.
smart.
When I came back, when I was the one that picked up Rick Steiner, when I was the one that met New Jack, dude, nobody else knew.
So you weren't smart
You
enough at
have to
all.
understand, there was guys in the locker room that would try to get over with the fans because the internet was like the buzz back then, and they would love to be the first person to, like TMZ, Rick Steiner's coming in. Yeah, Todd's like, yo, you're picking him up, you're taking him to dinner, you're taking him in the building in your van. That's how it was.
So you have no idea, even
Nope.
though you're making the save. So they just tell you backstage, hey, make the save in the main event when RVD and Sabu come in?
Yeah, and I'm loving it.
Oh my God, that's so crazy. They're going to kayfabe.
Dude, when I came back, nobody in the building knew it. Nobody in the locker room knew it. That's just how it was back then. A secret was a secret.
I love it. I think it's so much better when that happens because you can feel the audience like literally.
Dude, when that light came, when the lights came back on and Lawler's in the ring, oh my God, what a pop!
Yeah, what a pop!
I'm still getting goosebumps now, dude. It was great, and I was just so happy because I had known Lawler. Because I worked with him in the USWA in like 5, 10, 15, me and him working in places.
And how was
I was happy.
How was he working in this angle and everything after this?
Well, I have to understand something. The first time I worked with Lawler, it was opposite locker rooms. So I knew how Jerry could work. And so when we get out there, the lights are on and Jerry's in the ring, I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
I could just talk to him. And say, hey, hit me, do it, you know what I'm saying? I just know that. Because I know that he knows that it's on the fly right here.
Yeah, no, it's pretty
It's
incredible.
straight on the fly.
Yeah. So this ECW Hardcore TV episode number 220 highlights of the Sabu and RVD versus Sandman and Dreamer tag match and angle aired. So Jim Cornette debuted with ECW on 6/28 in Philadelphia in an angle very similar to the one a few weeks back with Jerry Lawler. During the main event with Sabu and RVD, Tommy Dreamer and Sandman, the lights went out in the middle of the match, and when they came back on, Lawler was in the ring, and they worked over Dreamer and Sandman. This time, Dreamer and Sandman, you guys
Were we locked in the cage here?
No, that's later. That's later.
Okay.
So you guys make a comeback, and then the lights went out again, and when they came back on...
Oh, we went to pile drive them. Next thing you know, it switched.
Yes.
And then
Cornette is in the ring, and then he lays out Dreamer and Sandman.
Dude, place exploded. Place straight exploded.
Oh my God! Like the pop Lawler got when you did the angle 4 weeks before.
Lawler was I talked to you about when I'm doing a spot, and I love that. Oh shit, pop! You know what I mean? That Lawler was boom pop. Cornette was. Are we seeing this? Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Because all the smart people know what's going on in the business now, and they know the heat between everybody and everything, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a gas pop.
Yeah,
great.
And I think it was almost as big, if not bigger, than Lawler's when Lawler did it. Like, this was an incredible pop that Cornette got, because people are like, holy shit, this is worlds colliding. We never thought we would see this.
They all knew the heat between Lawler. People listen to it now. I don't know if you can go back into the archives or whatever. But there was heat between those two guys. Heat where they would both of them would have said, there's no way I'm ever going to be in the ring with that dude again.
Yeah.
And Paulie made it happen. So that's where there was the gasp before the pop.
So I got to ask you about some of the heat between Cornette and Paulie. So now Paulie has heat dating back to when they did the throwing the belt down angle with Dennis Carluzzo. And Jim Cornette was obviously close friends with Carluzzo. Chris Candido was apparently the middleman between...
All right, close friends ain't close friends, but just please keep going.
They were business. In the business, whatever. Candido was the middleman between Heyman and Cornette. Heyman wanted to bring Cornette into the arena, feeling he was the last person anyone would expect to do an angle with ECW. So for the listeners out there who aren't aware of this stuff, Jim Cornette didn't really care for the style of wrestling that ECW
and also,
was doing.
was it his company on the way downhill?
Smoky
or was
Mountain
it
was already
over at that
It was already over at that point.
All right, but tell them about like how big like Cornette was running some shit back in the day there.
Yeah, from 92 to I want to say 95, 96. Smoky Mountain running Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, a regional territory. It was financially backed by Rick Rubin. And they had some success down at Smoky Mountain. It was a legitimate
we got
territory.
Brian Lee from them, the
Gangsters.
the Gangsters. Who else?
Candido and Tammy.
Oh yeah, but to me, Candido was a little bit more known than some of the other guys then.
Okay.
Well, I had actually done an angle with Candido and Tammy, like very, very,
Jericho and Lance Storm were from Smoky Mountain.
Is that right?
Yeah, they got their start.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they got their start in the
They went
U.S.
from
down there.
Canada and came right down to the Smoky Mountain, huh?
Yeah, they actually got their work visa from Cornette to work in Smoky Mountain. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where they started.
I'm glad I said. Tell us the story a little bit.
Yeah, so that's where they actually got their start. But So basically, Cornette had to do some negotiating with Heyman in order just to appear at this show. They agreed to bury the hatchet, and that Carluzzo would not try to cost ECW wrestlers dates. So Carluzzo was a New Jersey promoter, and I guess with Heyman and ECW working in close proximity, a lot of guys thought that they could get some bookings.
See, but he was a New Jersey promoter that was an NWA thing. A lot of people go, all right, tell them more about the NWA and the history and all those guys, Tosh.
Okay, so the NWA is like a cartel of wrestling promoters. Each one had an individual territory. This got completely disrupted when business went national from WWF. And then it was really, really small time, but still existing in some aspects into the 90s.
Yeah, just like little corners. Calling them, but they were really nothing.
They were really nothing, and that's when, Todd and Paul decided to do the throwing down the NWA belt angle in 94.
And Carluzzo didn't even know it was happening.
They double-crossed him. So that's where the heat stemmed from.
Double-cross.
They double-crossed the NWA. They said, you are blasé, you are yesterday's news. We're doing this angle. We're not Eastern Championship Wrestling. We're Extreme Championship Wrestling. So they had legitimate heat. Heyman and Carluzzo did not talk for years. This is 1997. They met in the back of a limo that Cornette was getting taken to the show, and they shook hands in the limo with Cornette there, and that was what Cornette wanted to do in order to do the show. Obviously, he got paid for it as well, but do you remember anything about Jim Cornette coming in and like the what the fuck kind of moment this was for him to even be in ECW?
No. Again, I don't even think he was in the locker room before.
You don't even think you saw him in the locker room?
Dude, that's how we did shit back then.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
It's all right. There's going to be lights on, lights off.
Yeah. No.
And I can tell because the way I'm talking to him in the ring, when I'm on my knees ping-ponging myself back and forth in between those two, there was nothing set up.
Right.
I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, dude, I got Cornette on my right and Lawler on my left. Each one of them hit me. I'm going to do this as long as I can until somebody else stops it.
Well, I got to ask you about this because during the angle, Jerry Lawler canes Tommy Dreamer low, and Dreamer was legitimately injured to the point where he could not work, and that he had to go to the emergency room, and they talk about this on these shows. Apparently, he got his testicles ruptured from the cane shot.
Okay, here. This is what people have to understand. Lawler's probably never really worked with a cane and done that shot before. So Lawler's thinking it's more like a broom handle. He's standing now. You remember, Lawler's like Tommy's laying down on the mat. Lawler's standing about over his hips, maybe underneath his in his two armpits, and he goes to hit him. Now, if it's a broom handle, the broom handle might crack or something like that, but he overshoots him. But he doesn't realize that the cane bends. So he overshot him, and the cane bent down into Tommy's nut.
Oh my god! And he lets out like a blood-curdling scream.
Yeah, like, ah!
Yeah,
Yo,
bro.
dude, that was a shoot.
Oh no, that girly scream.
Yeah.
I texted him about it.
Oh my god, the scream he lets out! I'm like, it's horrible. You're hearing it. You're like,
Oh no, that's a real shoot scream.
that's a shoot scream,
Yeah.
and you could see the look on his face when the camera gets it. Like, oh
I
my!
almost did it last week when Trashy hit me in the ballsack.
Trashy is one of Oliver's kids.
Just an absolutely incredible angle. Like,
Oh no, that scream is like you can have nightmares over that scream.
that was just like seriously watching that angle over again. I think it's like among the greatest angles in ECW history. Like it's really, really the heat there is just.
I got 3 of them just with me better than that. Just saying.
Up next on the show, Jerry Lawler does a promo in front of the WWF backdrop, and I love the fact that they got him.
What a great promo.
Oh my god.
What a great promo.
He said, me and my pal Jim Cornette, we waltzed right in, not once but twice. I took Sandman's own stick away from him, and you know what I did with it? I hit Tommy Dreamer right between the legs. I sent Tommy Dreamer to the hospital, and he had to have his testicles worked on. You know how I know that's a lie? Because Tommy Dreamer, you don't have balls. You would have went to a gynecologist.
Greatest line ever.
Oh my god.
That is so Memphis, that line. It's great. I wish that Terry knew that he probably could have cursed then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's like,
He's old school.
Yeah, it's old school.
But such a great promo.
What a line.
What a line, what a promo. And he said, Sandman, you better have a case of that liquid courage next time I see you. ECW, you suck. Like, that was just that promo right there. I'm like,
Yeah, that line's one
this
of
is
the greatest
business.
ever.
Like,
Straight heat.
straight heat. This is
Yeah.
business, man. This is really business.
It's genius.
It really
it's
is.
genius working with people that you shouldn't be working with, but Paulie doesn't fucking care.
Right, Paul.
He doesn't care.
We got a lot to talk about with that because Paul. This is just Ed doing whatever you want. And that's why ECW was cool. Up next on the show was Louis Spicolli facing off against Taz. This was a show in Belmar, New Jersey. It was an outside show. Do you remember anything about doing the show in Belmar, New Jersey?
I remember doing an outside show, but I don't remember anything else.
So this
the kids were with me.
It's just a short segment, but I really love the...
It was a job.
It was a job, but I love the promo work that Louis did before the match. Acting all tough, saying I could last this amount of time, I could go a minute, then it's 45 seconds.
Dude, that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
That's actually like that's a little bit of brilliance too.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that.
No, and then somebody in the crowd yells out...
People have to understand, do you remember him as Madonna's boyfriend?
In AAA, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then he did one of their pay-per-views. He was Madonna's boyfriend on a pay-per-view before he was Rob's friend. That's how Louis came up to ECW. But his character was that cocky ass freaking dude.
And he was great at it. Like, absolutely great at it. A guy in the crowd yells out, 30 seconds! And Taz is like, all right, yeah, 30 seconds. And then they do this little quick segment.
Timing's perfect.
Just a couple quick punches. He gets him up for the Spicoli driver. Taz locks him in. Taz mission. And it's right before the 30 seconds expire. Spicoli taps like a puss. And the crowd and the outside went nuts.
That
like,
was perfect.
Look, it's...
And those, and Louis, just, dude, you have to understand something. It may be 85 degrees. You're up on the ocean. There might be a breeze, but the mat might be hot. You know what I mean? Depending on what time of day. Louis like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out there and do a match for 30 seconds. Lovely, pay me. Let me go.
Any memories of Louis?
No, because he
was short.
He wasn't in there long.
Yeah,
and I wasn't friends with RVD yet.
Okay, so it was just different. Yeah, not really crossing your.
But I looked up to Louis, because I saw him on one pay-per-view or something like that.
Yeah,
So to me,
AAA
I'm like, yo,
Worlds
dude,
Collide.
you been there.
Yeah. Up next on the show was a Taz promo, and Taz cuts his promo. He says, Jerry Lawler and Jim Cornette invaded ECW. Who's going to do color commentary tonight? That's the question that I have, Paul. Well, guess what, brother? Now I put you on TV. And he pulls Paul E in as he's doing this promo. And then he says that he has a message to Vince McMahon for later in the show. And he says, I'm the biggest asshole in this industry. Okay? Now, Hack, I got to ask you. Around this time, Paul Heyman has a deal in place with WWF to do color commentary for their WWF Shotgun Saturday Night Show. So this was a new concept that WWF was launching in '97. They were trying to do a lot of like bars and nightclub kind of environment, and they wanted Paul Lee, and they had a deal in place for Paul Lee to come in and be their color commentator. Do you remember anything at this time, talk in the locker room about Paul Lee going to work for WWF?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well this was...
No, Paul's not going to be telling the boys that.
Right, but this is... I was reading about it in the sheets from this time period, and like, Paulie was going to be their commentator. Which, could you imagine if he did that in '97? Paulie's calling WWF matches, like...
He's great. He'd be great at it.
He would be.
He'd be
I mean, he
great at
was great at it
He'd
when
be
he
Joey
did it.
Styles.
Yeah.
He'd be Joey Styles, like, great at it.
I know, but it's just like, man, what the heck? This, it's what it, like, the whole world would have been a lot
They
different.
have many
like,
commentators, though, end up being bookers. Had bookers.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot, but it was just interesting, and it builds up to an angle later in the show that they go over. Up next on the show was PG-13 taking on Mikey
Oh my
and Spike.
God, so great.
I absolutely
love.
I mean, these are clipped matches on these shows, so like you're not getting like a ton of work rate, but man, the shtick that PG-13 does is so perfect. We saw JC Ice. He used one of the lines that he did.
Wait,
when he did
are you gonna say the girl with the tits?
Yes, he did the same joke.
That's great to me. You have the same notes all the time.
he did the same joke that he did in the It Ain't Seinfeld show. We watched it, and you could tell that was just like in his back pocket. He was using on all the audiences,
Everywhere.
and it would just always get a reaction.
The whole match was like 1972 Memphis.
I loved it. It was so shtick.
But I love Jamie. And I like Gwen. I like Wolfie, but I love Jamie.
I love Wolfie.
Jamie's a character. Jamie's like me character. Even like it's like me times 2 almost.
I know you've said this before. Like Jamie Dundee to me is like, look, he's a wrestling family guy. He's a Carney guy. He's a Memphis guy. All those Memphis
5 episodes of Jerry
Springer.
Yeah, and then the rest. So anybody that knows Jerry Springer, who was his bald
Steve Wilkos?
Yeah, so if you go to Steve Wilkos' very first show, because Jamie got to know him so well being there, Jamie's the first heel on Steve's show. Episode 1, Steve Wilkos.
Talk about heat, man. Like
I remember that.
Yeah, that's some real heat shit, dude. So this match, again, like it's not anything great in the match. It's a clipped match, but just getting to watch PG-13
It's
work.
entertaining.
It's entertaining.
It's so entertaining.
And Mikey and Spike are great in their roles as well. PG-13 picked up the win when Jason made his return to ECW and gave PG-13 the win. I love, too, after this, Joey Styles, the way that he was selling Jason, and he acted like anytime Jason was on camera, Joey Styles would act like he was having like an allergic reaction. I was like, this is just, it's so stupid, but it works, man. Like,
it's great.
It was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious. And the other thing, I don't know, what did you guys think? I loved Rick Rude on commentary for this little run. He was making all these lines. He was very horny every time. Everything was a sexual double entendre kind of joke.
With Franny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it was funny because it was so much different than like Joey, because Joey's like theatrical and like describing stuff, and Rick Rude is just like short, sweet. Like I forget the one line he said, but he's like, "Oh yeah, he's or Francine's like, yeah, that's just her fanny." Or something. Like he would be like have like these like small short like snippets of thing, like it was total opposite of what Joey was, but like it wasn't like the heel like Cyrus was, but he was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I like it.
But the thing was, because he knows what he's going into. Joey's the man, does this shit by himself. He said when he says something, it means something. You know what I mean? He's not he's like the one line, the Bobby Heenan one line thrower in, or you know what I'm saying?
It was just a bunch of one line quips.
Bobby
like,
Heenan, totally.
And he's got such a great voice, Rick Rude. Like he's got that just
it's like a masculine, like hard, like I'm a tough dude.
He is who he like. Rick Rude is just the man. I absolutely loved
Great dude.
getting to watch
Taught me a lot.
Getting to watch. He taught you a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That was really cool. Up next on the show,
Yeah, kid, you told me.
you guys smoking cigs together?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In the Sandman, man. In the Sandman, man.
That's awesome.
One time, like, have you ever heard Big Ben Tower London story?
Big Ben?
All right, that's good. So, we got, all right, I'm driving. The Pitbull's in the front seat. We got Todd, Scorpio, Fonzie, Rick Rude. I think Nancy was in the van with us, because you have there was like a bench in the back, a TV and shit like that. So we're going around circles. If anybody's out west, you don't know what these things are, but in the Northeast, when you drive down the road, there's this big circle. Instead of coming to a light, making a left or a right, you go around the circle, and then you take what exit you want. So there's a movie, Big Ben Tower London. What's the movie? Chevy Chase, is it?
Are you talking about European Vacation?
Yeah, is that Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
All right, European Vacation. They go around that big ass circle, freaking, and they keep going around. So we're driving around it. Oh, actually, Raven was driving the van. I don't know why, but it's me, Todd, and Rude in the back seat. And Rude just looks at fucking Todd to his left. He goes, "When is this motherfucker gonna stop going around this circle?" We did it 13 times. The only reason we stopped, because Anthony the Pitbull got so pissed at Scotty for keep doing it. Scotty pulled over, got out of the fucking car, fucking walked around the Pitbull's side, opened his door and said, "Get out, we're gonna fight." Anthony wouldn't get out of the car. And Rick Rude's just like, he's like Big Dick Dudley in between me and Todd at the very back bench.
Oh God.
Oh, I couldn't believe he fucking punked Anthony there. Raven would have ran. If Anthony would have got out of the fucking car, Raven would have ran.
Yeah.
He's the biggest pussy ever.
I've been in the car for a couple of Scotty's Big Ben Tower London, and you couldn't say a word because every time you said something, he would go around again. So you had to be quiet for long enough, and then he would finally get off.
Exactly. You got to no sell it.
That's a great rib. That's an awesome story, man. I'm glad you shared that one. Up next on the show was Tracy Smothers working Lance Storm. Lance was in his rat tail days still here. So I thought this was good work for a TV match, but it was, again, these are all clipped matches, so it's got it's not fair to give these anything star ratings.
Yeah, okay, please. I want everybody, tell them what match you're watching again. Lance Storm
And Tracy Smothers.
Okay.
Just really awesome.
All right. Do you know how many times I'm like, oh my God, are they doing this again? Where there's a big spot that happens, and then the guy goes to the top rope, but he takes 8 seconds to get there, and then he wants to stand on the top rope and then show off to the crowd for another 5 seconds. Watch when this happens in this match what Tracy Smothers does. You're just now guys will just stand there and just wait for you. They'll stand there 5 seconds and have no problem. Dude, sell something, spin your way around. So anybody, you want to be a pro wrestler, you want to realize what it's like to be in the ring and not look stupid, watch Tracy Smothers. He's brilliant.
Yeah, like you're talking about just the absolute god in the business, Tracy Smothers, and Lance Storm never had a bad match.
I had never heard anybody ever say a bad word about that dude.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
Wait, you talking Tracy or Lance, or both?
Oh, Tracy.
Tracy, yeah. Tracy's just an incredible wrestler from every kind of style of wrestling, and obviously...
He probably had, that dude had literally
5,000,
been wrestling
6,000 matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily.
Right.
At that point.
And did it everywhere. Could do Southern Tag, could work Japanese Strong, could do any
Japan.
Comedy,
He's been a
serious.
champion over in Japan.
I've seen him start riots, and I've seen him make me laugh at him. He's the best. He's just an absolute legend, man. I really enjoyed seeing all of the FBI, as always, especially Tommy Rich. And Lance won this with a back elbow, but just really fun short TV match there. The other thing they did on the show next was a video package of the history of you and Tommy. And they highlighted the caning angle that you guys did back in '94, and I thought this was really awesome because if you were like a new viewer just hopping into ECW, you're getting the context of who Tommy is and who you are and how tough you guys are and your history together, and now you're teaming, and it's just like a little short video package right there. And it just kind of explains something, and I wish wrestling would do this more often. You see it all the time where guys are later teaming. Just kind of educate the fans a little bit on some of the history while you're doing it.
Some people are leaving your company. Some people get injured. Paulie will just book you in whatever the hell he wants to book you in. You know what I mean? It's like multiple times in my career that Paul Heyman and Dutch Mantell, when Dutch was booking me when I was going to Puerto Rico like 5 times a year and stuff like that, I'd be like, well, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And I would ask so many times, and both of them would finally give me the same answer. He goes, because it's fucking pro wrestling, hack. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to make sense. I mean, I'm in the business. My sons have been around me in the business. You know what you're talking about, but sometimes the circumstances, you don't even, you have no idea what it could be. But a lot of the times they're off the cuff.
Yeah,
they're not booked a year and a half in advance.
Right, but
they're really not. It just happens.
I just love that they were calling to the history in this short little video package between you and Tommy, because it gives further context just to the feud and to your history in the company and to why you guys are like defending ECW, because you and Tommy are both like, you're flag bearers for ECW.
Well, yeah, and it must also be like there's got to be some serious hatred here if these two guys are tagging up together.
Yes.
These guys normally wouldn't tag, but there's something serious going on here, so they put their differences aside. That's why they're coming together to fight for the same purpose.
Well, yes, but you have to understand that there's no way when my angle was starting with Dreamer, the 10 lashes with Nancy, that Paul was booking what happened
No,
next.
this is 3 years later.
It's happenstance.
Oh, what do you mean? He knew.
It's happenstance.
He had Lawler and Cornette in the back way back then.
Victim of circumstances. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't book it. It just happens.
Yeah. Up next was a
And when it happens, though, you got to make it makes sense that me and him are the flag bearers for ECW.
yeah. Up next was a Beulah promo, and she was saying this time was different. And she talked of being in the
She
hospital.
did really well for talking as long as she did.
She did, and she really conveyed that like sense of urgency and like pain that Tommy was in. And she said she was in the hospital with Tommy screaming, "I don't want him to come back, but I know he will, and that's troubling to me." And I was like, man, that's a really good line.
Dude, it's everyday life. It's me, Ty, Raven. It's everyday life.
It's real.
If you can get those people to feel like that, then you got them.
Yeah, and Tommy
You
Dreamer's
got them.
he's still wrestling in 2024.
You're the son of a plumber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love too. She said, "Payback is like me, sometimes a total bitch." So this is just all building up to this.
I gave her that line.
Did you really?
No.
Nice.
I was gonna say, I knew you. There's no.
I was there
such
for
a
the
mark.
dude. I was always the last to go in promos.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you, but I know
would
you have no
watch
chance to
every
remember.
single person's promo before. I was always last.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to learn.
Yeah.
Why
Dude,
not?
I got Cactus in here cutting promos. I got Austin coming
Terry
in here
Funk.
and cutting promo. Terry. Yeah, dude, shut up and listen. Dude.
Why not?
That's what my philosophy was. Then.
Yeah, we were there for very long nights. My mom's sitting there. We're sleeping. Actually.
Yeah, dude,
Come on,
it's
Mac.
Raven. I mean, yeah.
I'm going last because I want to hear what everybody else is
Always
saying.
last.
The promos are just the promos in ECW
We're
were
the
like,
greatest thing ever because what was anybody else giving you?
nothing.
Well, the NWO, they would have got like the 2-3 minutes, whatever, but before that, you were getting 30, 45, 60 if you're Flair, 190 if you're Flair, you know?
And cheesy.
Seconds.
Cheesy too.
Yeah.
Not ECW.
Right.
So they cut to a clip now of Taz demanding a fan give up his WWF Raw T-shirt, and then it was mixed in with clips of Tommy being loaded up into the ambulance, and then Taz it was really awesome how he just lights the shirt and then just kind of builds up to the angle further when he burned the shirt. in
Dude,
the
the
ring.
shirt had to obviously be doused with something. Did you see how fast it went up?
It did go up really quick,
Yeah.
but the fan was wearing it, so I don't know.
No, the
The fan was wearing it
too.
Yeah, the fan was rocking it. I don't know.
That shirt went up real quick.
He might have been wearing a shit ton of cologne. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. In the
but
arena
dude,
in
you
'97, I don't
buy
know.
Well, yeah, who
right
knows
now.
what the hell was on
You
that
buy
shirt?
Yeah.
clothes right now, they're not supposed to be totally on fire freaking 5 seconds after you put a flame to it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a really cool way to add more flame to this feud, and it was a good cap for the.
It was horrible.
Pun intended.
No, I like
It was
it in the
horrible.
show
For what? For why?
because you're building up to the WWF
I
feud
know,
with
you gotta
ECW.
burn a shirt in the middle of the ring?
Because Taz,
Dude, it's 97, bro.
Taz,
Stop on it. Do the same thing.
Give it
it
an
is-
elbow. Hot two. Yeah, give it a little.
because Taz said it earlier. He said he has a message for Vince McMahon later in the show. So this was like Taz sticking it to WWF.
Storytelling, Hank.
Storytelling.
Learn it.
The next show was. All right, Ty.
Go on, Ty.
ECW Hardcore TV
Loser.
episode 221. So this started off with a Shane Douglas.
Okay, so what episode we on now? I thought we were on a pay-per-view.
Oh God, it's
Just
episode
saying.
29. God, you're busting my balls about this so
He got
much.
he
This
got
is
hit
great.
in the head earlier today.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all right,
I
okay,
forgot about that.
It's episode 29 on the network, and this is ECW Hardcore TV episode 221. So
I was a beast.
Shane Douglas is cutting a promo, and it's like at the beach with Francine. And this is a weird promo. He says he tapped out to Taz because he wanted the ECW heavyweight title.
Yeah, convoluted bullshit.
I didn't like that at all. And I thought, did he say the word I did a job too? I think he did.
Franny was skinny. I had to take a picture and send it to her.
She
Franny's-
did look abnormally skinny. Like,
Yeah, she did.
Like thin.
So
I
I'm
don't remember
like,
her being
girl,
that
you're
thin.
dying to get back to this because she's going on a diet and stuff like that. So I don't know.
You had to bust your balls.
Yeah. I'm like, you're begging to get back to this. She's like, oh my God, never.
I
can't do it.
I just the franchise was just such a heel. Like he was such a
Right.
hateable heel.
And he was.
It was too long.
And he was going to take a dip in his ring gear. Like he's like, yeah, I'm about to go take a swim. He's got his like trunks and boots on, like in the ocean. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that was weird. Out next, the BWO came out and they were minus Stevie. So Stevie had just jumped ship to WCW with Raven, and they didn't have him, and the BWO kind of floundered from this point without him.
He was wiping Raven's ass.
He was wiping.
Says
Ravens.
Taz.
Says Taz. And then you got a quick squash with Nova and Taz. Not really a whole lot to write home about there. Taz obviously was just putting him down in the dirt real quick. Any memories of Stevie Richards jumping ship to WCW around this time, Hack? No?
I'm used to it at that. Go ahead, leave.
Right. Yeah, I know that's always been your attitude. Up next here on the show was the Triple Threat, Bam Bam Bigelow, Chris Candido, and Shane Douglas versus, this is a weird six-man tag, Balls Mahoney and the Pitbulls. This was certainly an interesting...
job match.
Yeah, just an interesting kind of weird match. Shane pinned Balls after Balls missed a chair shot on Franny.
Well, did it not turn into a complete ECW clusterfuck?
It did.
With the Dudleys, the
I
gangster.
didn't know what the hell was going on.
It was wild.
I'm watching
man.
it. I'm like, who's in this match? I'm like, what is this match?
A
Who is
cluster.
it?
Just
Like,
a-
Paul Heyman.
Yeah, it's
It was
Paul
one
Heyman.
of those ECW,
was
like,
just
just
Dude, he could literally roll 5 matches in a row together.
Yeah, well...
Somehow. And you would just be like an hour and a half later, be like, what the hell
Yeah, it was
did I
like
just
9
say?
guys, 3 different angles, 1 match.
Yeah.
He would do it all. Dude, he would do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a brilliant dude.
I do have to ask, Hack, around this time...
No, don't remember.
Well, I think you'll remember this one. So,
Right.
the Pitbulls were arrested by federal authorities on July 2nd on 3 counts of steroid and marijuana trafficking. And this adds to the list of arrests pro wrestlers this year, predominantly on drug charges. Wolf and were arrested on 7-2 at their respective homes in South Philadelphia.
Yeah. Here, I'll tell you a story.
Okay, that's
Did I
why.
ever tell you guys about me chopping up freaking 200 pounds in the Pitbull's?
Yeah,
Oliver's face says you've told it a million
So
times.
it was at that time, and obviously both of them are on roids.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. Wait. Pitbull 1 or 2? Which
This
one?
is what happened. They screwed up because the fucking package that was being delivered to their house was for the address next door. It was like 500 and 502. And they delivered the package to the wrong house, and that's how they beat that case. But there's other people that would say that they snitched on other people to get out of that case. I've heard both of the stories.
Okay, that's certainly interesting. And after this, I guess there was a little freeze on the Pitbulls not being used after this recent
Yeah,
arrest.
but you have to understand something too. Paulie didn't see them as upper level guys. He just didn't.
They kind of had their time, and
Paul didn't see me as an upper level guy.
well, he was wrong.
You know
about
what I mean?
brother.
So, but hey, you it's like an NBA draft.
Yeah, no. Up next on the show was a New Jack promo, and man, New Jack cuts this passionate promo, and he looks absolutely insane in this promo. Like
He's coked out of his mind.
oh, he does a lot of sniffing in this promo, and I was thinking the same thing. And he's cutting this promo about the cage match coming up against the Dudley Boys, and he promises them, we're going to get you in a cage, and I promise you, we're going to take you out. And it's just the way, he had the look in his eyes, New Jack, with some of these promos, man. It's just a look.
He lost himself towards the end of it.
Yeah,
He did,
it
but
wasn't
it-
one of his better ones. His better ones when he's a little when he's not so coked up and he goes off like New Jack, like he's a rapper kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like walking around, stomping and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was whack.
I still thought it was a really good promo.
He
But
just lost himself towards the end because he kept saying, we're going to take you down.
yeah.
And then
We're gonna take you.
we're going to take you down. And we're going to get you in that cage. You're going to look at me. And we're going to take you down. And I'm like, all right, Jack, you're getting a little...
Wrap it up.
Well, because
Yeah, it sounds like they hit the mute, the ECW music,
But
and Jack's like, thank God.
the thing was back then, like New Jack wanted to say we will kill you, but Paul was like, dude, you
yeah.
can't say kill somebody. So
Yeah.
I've seen him like get lost in that aspect also.
Yeah.
Yeah, like struggle to find the words.
Yeah.
No, it was...
But New Jack is I'll kill you. I'll AK-47 you in the
Yeah.
middle of Second and Broad.
Yeah.
You know?
Up next was a Joel Gertner promo, and he cut a promo hyping up the pay-per-view, and he guaranteed that if the Dudley Boys do not enter Hardcore Heaven with the tag team titles, he would shave his head and chest. I was like, this is just crazy.
High stakes.
Yeah, high stakes. Nobody wants to see a shaved chest Joel
Dude,
Gertner.
I was just with him in Atlantic City this weekend. He had a shirt. He had the same kind of shirt like that, and only had the one button at the bottom.
Oh, he still lets it fly.
Did he have the neck
He
brace
had
on?
like a miniature, like, you know, the collar was like 4 inches before, but now it's down to like 2 inches. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, he still lets that chest hair fly, man.
Dude, but you know what, though? All right. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay. Up next on the show was RVD, Sabu, and Fonzie cutting a promo hyping up this 6-man cage match. Fonzie is absolutely amazing here. I really, really loved him. He's like, you thought I could only blow a whistle? Well, look again at my superstars. We're kicking ass in ECW. Mopping them up the top talent. Mopping up the top talent. You think you got us trapped? Wrong. We got you trapped. And RVD was rocking a Sting Squadron and Dangerous Alliance t-shirt. And then RVD was cutting a promo on Paulie here. And it's a lot of this like work shoot stuff at this time where it's like, you know, a lot of stuff in the sheets and talking about Paulie dangerously. And he said, Paulie, aren't you the one that was upset at me for wrestling on Monday night? How old were you when you were here? 25 or 26? Roughly the same age as yours truly. It was right for you then, but it isn't right for you now. That sucks. Let me tell you something. I'm going to sell out the ECW arena. This was just great heel promo.
Yeah, and Fonzie's got the Raw hat on, and he comes out. I mean, but he was totally out of breath too. It was hilarious. He's like, "We're not trapped.
Yeah,
You're trapped." And like Rob's like, "Trapped? Yeah, trapped."
Yeah.
Like playing it off, but I mean, just Fonzie's work is still so good. Like,
so good. And it's just that the three of those guys with Sabu and RVD doing like little like, you know, he taps him on the chest and then Sabu will give him a glare.
Well,
you know,
I was just gonna say
they play their roles perfectly.
I was gonna say it's Sabu's so underrated in those things because he never says a word, but you know exactly what he's feeling or, you know, wants to say, or, you know, he plays the character like perfectly. And Rob and Fonzie, but Rob especially plays it off with Sabu because he'll say something and Sabu will turn and look at him and be like, no, like
Exactly.
you're good, you're good. Like Rob plays it off like perfect.
Yeah, reeling him back in, making sure he's okay. Not going to stab him or something. You know,
like in a later promo. I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but yeah.
No, it was just a really awesome promo.
Yeah, but like it's a point where it's like Sabu knows his character, knows he can't speak because that kills his character, but he understands the language. You know what I mean? And I love and they did it all the time.
Yeah, he speaks without speaking.
Right, exactly. It's all nonverbal.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Up next this is absolutely incredible, a Jim Cornette promo. Again, it's in front of a WWF backdrop. And Jim Cornette, I mean, it's only like a minute or two, but he cuts this promo, and he's just... Look, Jim Cornette's one of the best promo guys of all time. He says, sticking a needle in Tommy Dreamer's testicles would look like sticking a telephone pole into an ear of corn, if you know what I mean.
That was great.
I was like, man, what a great... Like, Jim Cornette's the only one that could twist like a sentence like that.
No, Pap could easily say something like that. You agree, Howie? Pap could easily say that.
Yeah, telephone pole in a corner cot.
So then Cornette also said, will Jim Cornette come back to the ECW arena? I'd rather go skinny dipping in the septic tank of a slaughterhouse. I was like, man, this guy...
How southern is that?
It's so
You
southern.
can't get more southern than
You
that
can't.
skinny dipping in a slaughterhouse.
You can't.
And people can't even imagine that. Like ECW fans, like, well, because we're Northeast a lot, they're like, what?
I know a lot of people like, what the hell's a slaughterhouse?
Yeah.
I eat chickens, I eat beef. What's a slaughterhouse?
Yeah, no, it was just a really great promo. And then he also cuts a promo on smart fans. And it's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Hack. It's like not knowing. And ECW at this point in time, it's for all of the smart fans. And when you work the smart fans, you get reactions like you did when Lawler and Cornette debuted. And Cornette says that, like, isn't that half the fun? Like, and you could tell
Well,
he's
he
having so
told
much fun.
you that we kept it secret enough.
Yeah.
Just exactly what I was saying.
Right.
I'm in the freaking locker room and I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And Ollie, like watching it, you only really know Cornette from his podcast, right? Like,
I don't even watch it, so
no,
I don't even
you just
really
know
like,
that's what he is.
of him.
Yeah.
Like
and
a wrestling figure.
and
yeah.
Lawler from like the commentary. Like,
I mean, I know
Raw
Lawler was a
card.
worker, but
right.
But now Cornette spends a lot of his, well, I wouldn't say a lot of his time. I'm sorry, Jim, if you ever hear this, but I've heard you say I would love to have Jim Cornette and Todd Gordon in a debate.
Wow.
All right, Suplex Vintage Wrestling.
Yeah.
Set us up.
Because Cornette, well, you have to understand something. Cornette's old school, you know what I mean? He grew up, and Cornette's the kind of guy that just didn't just fall into this shit. You know what I mean? He's a lifer.
He started out as a photographer. in the
Yeah,
business, as a kid.
like Paul E did.
Yes.
Or whatever, you know what I mean? They're lifers. You
Him
know
and
what I
Paul
mean?
Lee are very
I'm
similar,
one.
but just
I'm a lifer.
different versions of the vision of pro wrestling. They're
Yeah,
both-
so
you know
he's
what I
a
mean?
lifer. Paul Lee saw the vision, but Jim Cornette didn't.
Well, Cornette was like, you know, don't. I'm trying to think of the phrase, but it's like he was like, don't change what's been working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
As far
but
like for him, but
shit
Paul
needed
saw
to
like,
change.
yo, yeah, it's working, but it can be better.
Yeah, the problem is once the toothpaste's out of the tube, when it comes to like kayfabe and things like that, you can't go back.
Right.
You can only go forward, and that's what ECW was doing.
Well, no, but I'm not even so much talking about kayfabe right now. I'm talking about
That was just an- that was
aesthetics
just
of
an
a
example.
match.
Okay, hardcore
Or-
stuff. and-
Yeah, because Jim's like, oh, you got all these guys getting. We had no more injuries than any other company
Right.
would have.
And the thing is, too, at
And
least,
we were doing 10 times. Dude, people, go back and watch 1997 Raw and tell me any one of those matches that could live up to an RVD match in
Right.
our company. They just weren't happening then.
Yeah.
Was it Shawn Michaels then? And,
Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, there were some top work rate guys. Owen was there, obviously. They had some really good wrestlers in WWE.
in
at the time.
95?
In 95, 96, 97. Yeah, they had some guys, but a lot of it was junk. And a lot of it wasn't, forward like ECW was. The one thing that I'm
Yeah,
always...
but music's changing, the world's changing, dude.
Right. And they were stuck in the past.
Well, and Paul, you can't go up and compete with WWE and WCW doing the same thing they do.
You got to do different.
Yeah,
it'd be stupid.
You got
Right,
to fight
exactly.
them. You got to fight them left-handed. You know what I
Right,
mean? You got to do
yeah.
something different, and that's why ECW relied on hardcore promos, music, violence, cursing, all this counterculture stuff that WWF wasn't going to be able to do. WCW
Yeah,
couldn't
all right,
do.
you have to understand something. Guys, like, all right, I'll take, all right, half of the Mexican guys would be with me on mine and Dreamer's side of how we like to have a match. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of the Canadian guys. Bladestorm didn't want to have a match with Bleeding in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Jericho didn't want to have a match with Bleeding in it. You know what I mean? So there were certain guys that were bred in certain styles. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So me, I didn't want to go in there and chain wrestle. I wanted to do ladders, tables, chairs, lions, tigers, bears. That was fun to me.
Yeah.
And that
was just fun.
And that was the best thing about ECW is because you had your Lance Storm and Chris Jericho matches, and then you also had your other shit.
Your Eddie Guerrero,
Variety.
Dean Malenko's, and then you had me and Sato.
you had both of them. You had
One of the
best
things
them.
that's always interesting to me when it comes to like wrestling styles and stuff is Memphis was a huge influence on ECW. And Paul Lee starting off there as a manager
all right.
and
You
learning.
need to explain this more, like the Andy Kaufman
Sure.
angle. Are you talking about?
I'm talking
Memphis
I'm
was
talking
the precursor.
I'm talking like heat, getting heat for angles, which Paul Lee learned a lot of in his time in Memphis.
And Lawler was the
Lawler.
heat-seeking missile.
Paul Lee was being
Or the babyface.
Paul Lee was the manager for Austin Idol and Tommy Rich at the time in a huge feud with Jerry Lawler, and also in
Oh,
Memphis.
you guys got to look that one
That's
up.
the best.
What
It's
a
one of the
great
best feuds
feud.
ever.
Yeah.
Like incredible. And also the concession stand brawl that they did in Memphis. The concession stand brawl in Memphis, like really taught a lot of this brawling hardcore style, and it influenced a lot of people. So like I know Lawler saying extremely crappy wrestling Well, a lot of this came from your backyard, is where it actually is, like the genesis of this in some ways. So it's interesting. This whole angle is very interesting to me in a lot of aspects.
That was great.
Yeah. Up next on the show was Tommy Dreamer, you and Beulah cutting a promo. You don't do much. You got your shirt off here and you just crack a beer. You're smoking a cig. But Dreamer says that they need Taz as their partner. So it's all building up to the match. And then it goes to a Taz promo. And Taz says he won't be the third partner. He ain't nobody
Listen to
naming
how
me.
great that is. Tommy, the biggest babyface in the freaking company, saying, Taz, come on, we need you now.
Right.
And Taz goes, this is brilliant, Spike Ball.
Yeah, it is. And Taz
Straight brilliance.
And Taz says, no, he won't be the third partner. He ain't nobody naming me. That makes me a solo wrestler. I ain't no company guy to be a partner with you in that drunk. I stand alone.
It reminds me of why I thought that Cody shouldn't have been in that 6-man match a couple weeks ago and then ended up doing the job. No matter where they're going with it, you know what I mean? Like, Cody should be like, nah, dude, I'm good.
Right. I get what you're saying. And the presentation of Taz, he's not doing it because he's not like
No,
afraid.
now he's a selfish bitch.
Right, yeah.
No, now he's a selfish bitch.
Right.
And that's a big difference right there.
Yeah. And then Shane Douglas cuts a promo on Dreamer and you, saying that he hates WWF, but he won't be the partner. So you're going through all the guys in the company. And
That's
all
just Paul saying, throw this in there, Shane, like that night.
But it builds up to the angle.
Why wasn't there another, though? He should have had another guy.
Yeah, well, it does with Rick Rude.
But that was
So-
just for Shane to say, no, I'm more focused on Terry Funk.
Yes.
I know, but why would we ask Shane?
Yeah, you should have had it. I know what you're saying, yeah. Then Rick Rude does a promo, and he's hyped up about the 6-man tag, and he's acting as a face, and he's cursing a lot. And you kind of tease that he might be the guy, but you don't say it, and it's like all right there. And then
Hey, hold on. Get into the specifics of Rick Rude and why he couldn't work a match there.
Okay, so I want to ask you about this, and I was going to ask you about this later, but I'll ask you right now. So, a lot of the boys in the early 90s took out insurance policies.
Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's of
policies.
London policies. So basically, they insured their body if ever they had an accident in the ring and they were not able to perform, that they would get this giant lump sum, like a life insurance policy, sum of money, if they weren't able to continue to be pro wrestlers. Rick Rude takes a bump, I believe it was over in Japan, backdrop out of the ring, and he hits his back on this awkward part of the staging ramp, and his back was just completely fucked. And he legitimately was not able to work anymore at this point for a while. And a lot of wrestlers during this time,
But there was some guys stealing money.
Kurt Hennig, Ted DiBiase,
Yeah, all tried to steal money.
Jim the Anvil Neihart is the one that I remember because in Bret Hart's book, he always talks about, like, he found Jim Neihart, like, and he blew all his money on jet skis and cocaine. And he just had a fanny pack with, like, some of the money left over. And he went wild after he hit his Lloyd's of London. It was like hitting the jackpot for him. So, like, heck, in the business, I know this is probably a little bit before.
I tried to get one.
You tried to get one?
Yeah, of
What
course. Everybody wanted to get one then.
What year?
You're like an idiot. I don't remember the year.
But did
Yeah.
you not qualify?
Well, no, at some point they stopped insuring wrestlers because they were all paying them
after
out.
like 5 years. Like it was gone in a flash.
Right. And, like, I guess they figured, like, oh, shit, these wrestlers are always cashing these in on us, and they're hitting us for, like,
Yeah, we're
a lot of
losing.
money.
So, all right, so getting back to point is why Rick Rude couldn't get in the ring and wrestle.
Right.
Because he, and I think there was an expiring point where, like you could actually do, like, real life shit after, like, so many years after the policy ended or whatever, you know what I mean? But I remember that he was going to get, he already got paid off, but he had to do it only till a certain amount of time.
Yeah. So it's just it's why Rick Rude wasn't wrestling at this point. But the show ended with Tommy Dreamer cutting a promo about Jerry Lawler, and it replays the scream that he let out again, just one more time to hammer it home, in case you
That bitch.
Up next, this was.
I said it to him.
It's, well, I'm glad
He's like, well, yeah, you get your testicles hit like that. I'm like, yeah, dude, I had a hernia operation and showed up for one of your shows the same day in New Jersey, which I did.
Hardcore, one of those Tommy Dreamer shows for him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had, my neck-oil hernia. I had an operation that morning and then showed up at one of his shows. I told you guys this story.
I don't remember this.
Remember who were those 3 dudes or the 4 dudes from New York that do that stupid shit and make you...
the Impractical Jokers guys? Yeah.
They were supposed to show up that night. I was supposed to be there, but just supposed to be there. They were supposed to show up that night, and they didn't show up. And Bubba was there, and Dreamer was there, and we're in the back. And I'm listening to everything that they're not showing up. And I stood up, and I'm like, I'm ready for any kind of action. I said that to Bubba, and he's like, all right, we're going to use hack. And any kind of action is what Pedro Morales used to say. It was like an old school line that I could give those guys that all right, I could get in the ring.
Okay, that's interesting.
6 hours out of surgery.
Badass motherfucker you are.
Did the same thing before. Twice.
Yeah, almost died and then worked. Yeah,
Not
that's pretty
the point.
similar.
Not the point. Not the
Not
point.
the point. 3 times I had a surgery within 24 hours and been in the ring.
Yeah.
3 times.
Bad motherfucker. So the show starts off.
Shut up.
You're putting yourself over, and then we put you
and then
over,
you tell
and
us
then
to
you
shut
say,
up. 'Cause
"Shut
you're-
up."
No.
You don't want us to put you over. You don't want us to bury you. You're not happy
I wanna
whenever.
put myself over. I hate people put me
All
over.
right. Sorry, bud. I'll never put you over again.
Believe me, I put
Loser.
myself over enough.
All right.
Every night before I go to sleep, I'm like, God damn, Hack, you were so good.
Is it while you're watching Kelly Kelly?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably like 9% of my 365
Well, I guess
days a
you'd be
year.
putting her over then.
Yeah, she's for the finish. Clean.
Yeah, I'll put myself
No clean finish.
No clean finish there. Yeah,
Kelly!
it's a fuck finish.
It's a fuck finish for sure. Yes.
I love you, Kelly.
So the next show was ECW Hardcore TV episode 222.
Oh, wait. I thought we were talking about a pay-per-view. Just saying.
He's just busting my balls so much here today. Oh, God.
Did you take your medicine
He
after
did.
that car accident?
Yeah, he did. He's feeling woozy. Clips of the Gangsters versus the Dudleys cage match from Heatwave 97 aired. You didn't really see a whole lot. They were brawling in the cage. There were some
Bubba
weapons
was
in there.
so fat.
Bubba
I
does.
texted him.
What did he say back?
I showed him one. I showed him a picture of it, and he goes, "I'm like, dude, are you like?" I probably said like 3. Here, hold on. Let me
All right,
give
we're
you
getting
the
the hack
exact
check.
right
What are
Hack
you,
check.
350?
Before,
Right?
yeah, that's exactly where I was.
Or how many buttons on those overalls did you pop off?
Here we go. I sent him that picture, and I'm like, "Are you 350 pounds here?" He goes, 390. Heaviest was 402.
Wow. Damn.
Dude, there's no way he was.
He was pretty big in 95,
Bubba
dude.
was, dude.
Yeah, he's pretty big in
He's,
95.
and he's half-ass tall, too.
Well, how tall is he? 6'1"?
He's right around my height right now.
I was gonna say about my height.
Okay.
Yeah, like 6'2", 6'3" ish.
Okay.
Probably.
So in this match, Bubba hit a cutter from the top rope, and then
They were the
Mustafa
shits.
just covered him because Bubba was selling the broken ankle that he legitimately suffered at Barely Legal a couple months prior. It was kind of a weird finish, but there was just clips of this match, so again, it's not really fair to talk about it as a match or anything.
Yeah.
Joey then does the intro for the show with the blue meanie in the front row, and he called out Taz. It was just kind of weird. I don't know what the heck that angle was.
For who? For what?
Well,
don't
that
know.
was if you remember when.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
from the
but
previous
for who,
show.
For what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was-
Stevie's gone. You got to do something with him.
You got to do something with him. They're trying to come up with something different for Meanie at this point. I don't know.
Right.
Then out comes Rick Rude with 2 chicks. And he says
Yeah.
yeah, they weren't the best. I don't know. Where'd they get those girls? Club or Sky?
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders? Okay.
Show and tell.
Show and tell.
Cheerleaders.
Blue Turks.
Yes.
So there's 2 chicks with him, and Joey was really putting them over as like smoke
Might have been
shows.
Maddie in the house's people. I don't know.
Maddie in the house.
Maddie!
That popped me. That's great.
He was a spitter at fucking strip clubs.
Was
I
he?
think that was his deal, Maddie.
Okay.
But Paul knew that. That's another little thing. Paul, that Maddie in the house that we thought that was fun, that I thought was stupid, was really where fucking the young kids were going.
Yeah.
Then, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even know what that is.
Matty
What
in the
is
House was like a backstage interviewer for
You'd be
ECW.
like,
Yeah, he was real animated. He was very annoying. He's in like the earlier days of ECW. I didn't really like him that much either, but
Well,
yeah, he was like an MTV VJ or something. Yeah,
I vaguely remember that now that you say that.
Whatever the hell it was.
yeah, like that's kind of like the vibe I would get from him.
Yeah, that's where Paul was. He was so ahead, like just with the Nirvana like shit
Like
going
an
on
MTV
out
spring
there.
break type deal.
Yes,
fucking thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
exactly what it was. With the camera coming in and out on him.
Yeah. So then Rick Rude says that he signed a 2-year deal with ECW. A month later, he was back at WWF working as the insurance policy for Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and then they started DX. So he says he signs a 2-year deal, and then literally a month later, he's gone. So
Great.
yeah, I don't know if that was just for the heat later in the main event angle. I don't know. John Cronus wrestled El Puerto Ricano, who was Pablo Marquez. And Hack, I don't know if you remember anything about this. Apparently, there was a minor backstage incident after this match. So Cronus won with a 450 splash. And then the feeling was that he didn't sell the move long enough. So Perry Saturn was at ringside, and apparently he cracked him with like a really, I mean, he did in the match.
Yeah, Perry's an asshole.
He hit him with a crutch shot that was like really
Yeah,
hard.
Perry's an asshole. He's a fucking roid rage. Look at him. He's a fucking natural fucking 140-pound dude.
It was a gorgeous 450 though.
It was.
I'll tell you what, Cronus
Oh, no. What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it was Scorp.
are the only
Yeah.
two that I've seen that are like
Yeah.
flawless at that.
Yeah. And not kill you on the
Yeah.
downside. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
So
No, fuck Perry. Perry was always mad at something.
Well, then that's interesting you say that, because when they got to the back, apparently Saturn confronted him about not selling either the finisher or the crutch shot long enough, and he started to pie face him, and they got into a huge pull apart brawl. And then he
Okay, there was no pull apart brawl because fucking the kid was the most humble, lovable shoe shine boy there was in the locker room.
Pablo Marquez.
Yeah, what are you kidding me? He was like Japanese dojo, like.
Well,
Okay.
it might have just been pulling Perry
and
off
then
the head.
the situation
more
was
than,
Yeah, yeah.
he apologized for it, and then the situation was diffused.
Well,
Perry-
okay, but yeah, but Perry was
do,
an asshole.
do you remember anything about Perry going after him backstage at the
Perry
show?
went
Or,
after me in a match.
really?
Yeah.
Over what?
All right, here we go. We're in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, and all right, and this is straight shoot because I know the story because I know when I get shot on in the ring. So we're in the Jim Thorpe building to where you have to remember something. The building's on the edge of a cliff. Imagine if it's like House of the Dragons. You know what I mean? You're literally on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, it's Dragonstone.
Yeah, and when you're when you're on the balcony right there, it's like 5, 6, maybe 7 feet wide, and the balcony's like 100 years old. Like I would never walk on that balcony, and I would always sit right inside the door. So if shit starts to fall, that I could jump into the freaking building.
And that thing goes straight down too.
So,
like, yeah.
like straight down, 1,000 feet, like boom, dead.
I remember that.
So it's me and Scorp. I don't think we have the belts yet. So it's me and Scorp against Cronus and Saturn. So I remember sitting there, and they're going over like moves like to open up with and stuff like that. I'm like, dude. And
Call me when you need me.
It is so.
That's not my forte.
It is so funny how I remember it. Well, dude, because this is the first time I was shot on in the ring. So I'm like, guys, I don't remember the moves, the top, wrist lock, the this. You do something, I'll follow you. You know what I mean? And I got Scorp with me, you know, and me and Scorp aren't like me and Scorp scissor buddies yet. You know what I mean? This is like very early. And Scorp's the baddest person in the locker room. Guaranteed at this point.
Right.
Easily the baddest person in the locker room. So we get out in the ring, I got in the corner, and Perry fucking tried to light me up with some punches. I mean, didn't hit any of them, but I was like, whoa, fuck, and I ducked out. I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I guess I deserve that. You know what I mean? Because All right, Perry's a. And is this even true that he was a paratrooper or whatever, a Marine?
I believe so.
I don't even know. But he was intense. He was just fucking. Dude, he was way more intense than Taz was. Taz's problem was he had Paulie fucking putting shit in his ear the whole freaking time. Perry was intense. Like, just intense.
Man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so he let me out for a second in the corner.
Just because you didn't remember some spots?
No. I've never forgot a spot.
You're right, you just didn't want to do it.
No, it's because you want to say, like, hey, we're going to do a top wrist lock, then we're going to shoot around to do this, and then we're going to shoot around. Dude, if we start here, you go behind me, I know the obvious reversal. You know what I mean? You reverse me, I know the next obvious reversal. I don't care what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, dude, we'll just do it out there. We don't have to call back here.
Just call it in the ring.
Yeah. And that's where he got pissed.
Oh, man. So,
he wanted to lay it all out, and you were like, yeah, just go, dude. I'll be there.
Dude,
I'll be there.
Flow with it.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, Perry. I hope Perry Center's doing well.
Short never said a thing afterwards either. We went at, it was funny. Because, and another time, all right, here we go. So I had to tell you guys this story about, was the night Missy got her lips done. We're in Lulu Temple at Plymouth Meeting. In Plymouth Meeting right now, pretty close to, like 4 par 5s away from the mall, King of Prussia Mall. So the ring's late, whatever. I go outside or whatever, and I'm supposed to do a run-in on the Pitbulls against who are the big brothers that looked exactly like
talking the Harris twins.
Yeah,
the Bruise Brothers.
The Bruise Brothers. Yes.
So I'm outside screwing with the fans because I want them to tell Missy that her lip job is like horrible. So I wanted them to start Perry. I'm horrified, but this is where my psychology is. So I missed my run-in. I go in and I hit one of the Bruce brothers on the back of the head, which the first thing they told me in the back was, don't hit me on the back of the head. He's got like 12 stitches. Hit him on the back of the head. I open him up. They took me outside and beat the shit. They just booted me. At least it seemed like an hour and a half to me, like literally. But each one of them booted me hard like 5 times.
Damn, those are some big dudes.
So I recovered from them booting me, dude. I'm shit faced at this time, coked up out of my mind, smoked pot all day. So I go back into, this is how dumb I am. I go back looking for them in the locker room.
You?
Yeah. This is how
Where'd you pussies go, huh?
Yeah. This is how drunk I was. So we're at this Lulu Temple, which is like a synagogue or like a Hindu
temple?
maybe temple. Yeah. So we go back we're in the kitchen right now, and I'm confronting those two. I go through the curtain, I get in the kitchen, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you two? Both of them start beating the shit out of me again.
You didn't learn your lesson, man.
No, they both started wailing. It was all feet by the ring, because I was on the floor. But we were standing up, so they were beating me over. My head was in the sink. They could have like grabbed the spout, like poured water on me. They were beating the shit out of me. New Jack came in and saved me.
Okay.
Well, you got to understand, New Jack, black dude, those dudes, South. There was always heat there. Okay. But New Jack totally saved me from even more of an ass kicking, which I deserved.
Did you ever have any further heat with the Bruce brothers?
The next night, me and Scorp were against those two in the arena.
Okay.
No problem.
No problem
whatsoever.
So it was just a one-night thing because,
It's a one-night thing. Yeah, dude, they could easily got fired because I'm a top guy right then.
Right.
They're not. I probably could have said something to Paul or whatever, but that's just not me. I'm like, no, dude, I fucked up my run-in. I was shit-faced, asked for more. They beat my ass more. I'm lucky New Jack saved me. I'm good.
That's a great story.
And Scorp knew it too. Scorp knew I deserved the ass kicking, dude.
Yeah.
But the next night, I'm not so sure if I had a different tag team partner that they might not have roughed me up more. Scorp's a badass. Scorp's better than both of those two probably combined at that point.
Yeah.
Straight badass.
Man.
Yeah, got my ass kicked there 2 nights ago.
Sometimes you got to take a loss.
At the ring, in the kitchen.
Up next on the show was a recap of the angle that got us here with Lawler's debut, Cornette's run-in, Lawler, Sabu, and RVD versus Dreamer and Sandman, and then the Mystery's partner as well, hyping up all that. Then we get to Shane Douglas and Terry Funk. So there was a lot of brawling, and they went outside the arena out front.
What else are you going to do? You're not spotting with Terry.
No. And they go outside in the front into the truck right there by the outside of the arena. They
In and out.
They go through the crowd.
Or out and in.
They do a lot of work, and then my favorite spot in the match was Funk giving Franny the atomic drop that took her out of the match. He picks her up so high, he picks her up so everybody gets a look, seeing it under her skirt, and then he drops her with the biggest atomic drop ever.
She didn't even remember it.
No?
Yeah, because I texted her yesterday or whatever, 2 days ago when I was watching it. I was like, girl, you were God in this match.
Oh, she was great.
She's like, I don't even remember it. And then I went over 3 spots with her. And I'm like, yeah, you took this stomach drop and then your face hit the turnbuckle or the rope or something like that. Boom, roll right out to the table. Boom.
And then Rick Rude was like on commentary. He was like concerned.
He was unbelievable.
Concerned for her and everything. And the thing about this was just for the timeline involved with this finish. So Funk and Shane Douglas are brawling on the floor. Candido comes out.
Have you gained weight, dude, or is that shirt just tight?
That's a tight shirt, dude. Look at you, man. Fuck off.
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm worried about your health.
I'm doing great, brother.
Yeah, okay.
Francine.
What blood pressure medication is he taking?
I'm fine, man. I got no problem with that. So Funk gets bit by Francine on his ear. And they were playing.
I thought he was bleeding before that on his ear.
He wasn't. Not up to this point.
It seemed like, dude, it seemed like to me that he juiced himself before she got to the point of putting it on his ear. I watched it twice.
I'll take your word for it since you watched it twice. I only watched it the one time. But from what I was thinking, he bladed the ear. And the finish is just to play into what just happened a couple weeks prior.
Tyson!
So a month prior, in the second Evander Holyfield-Mike Tyson fight, obviously Tyson bites the ear off of Evander Holyfield, gets disqualified in the fight. And so it's just a play on that. They call
Brilliance.
They call it DQ, which we were talking about earlier. You never saw DQs in ECW. This was like few. I don't even know if I can remember another instance of a DQ in ECW. Like they would just throw out the match. They would rarely do DQs. So yeah, that was it. They do that, and then they do a little thing with Todd Gordon putting out a statement. I love that. Like it's an official statement from the commissioner.
The picture was hilarious. It was Todd, and it's not even like just like a Todd clean picture. Like there's boys in the background of like the picture. I don't know if you caught that, but like he's the commissioner, and there's like dudes hanging in the background of like the picture. Like,
noticed that.
It was. I was like, that's just so unofficially and hilarious. Like,
yeah, and in the statement he said, "We at ECW find Douglas and Francine's actions inexcusable. We condone the hardcore style. We market and exploit it, but this we do not support."
This was not hardcore.
Yeah, this was not hardcore. So, like, it was an interesting way to get out of around doing a finish for the match, pretty much. So. That was that. I don't know what you guys thought of that.
Yeah, but it was, I'm not going to say the French word, but it was timely. You know what I mean? Perfect timing, everything. If you're going to have a DQ, you might as well go all the way with it.
Are you talking about apropos?
No,
he's not going to say the
never
word.
Said those words.
He won't say it.
Oui.
So
Damn it.
here's the main event of the show. So this was in the Wrestling Observer. At one point, Dan Severn was strongly considered for the mystery partner role in the six-man.
Can't work.
Any memories of potentially bringing in Dan Severn at this point? Yeah, it would have been kind of weird as like just, here's Dan Severn. Like,
Didn't he do something with WWE?
He was in WWE, yeah. He ended up winning the NWA title and working in WWE as like the NWA champion, and
right.
He
so
worked
I guess maybe that would have been like
he
him
was
getting
wrestling
back then or
around this
something.
time a little bit, but it just to me it wouldn't have made sense.
He's not a wrestler.
Yeah. Well.
Please don't say he was wrestling.
Okay.
Oh, he'd lock you up like Chris Chetty.
Well, yeah, but he's not a professional
worker,
wrestler.
you're saying.
Yes, I know.
So here was the main event. It's Jerry Lawler, RVD, Sabu facing off against You, Tommy Dreamer, and a Mystery Man. So you guys are all in the ring, and well, first you Dreamer and Beulah come out to the ring, and there's a beer ball tapped. I love an old school beer ball. Like, they don't make them anymore. It's a very weird thing. And,
My age, I've only partied a couple times with it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oliver didn't even know. When I talked to him, I was like, dude,
you've never seen a beer ball?
I know what it is, but I never me and my friends were never like, yo, let's get a beer ball. Like, that was never a...
dude, I'm 10 years older than you, and I've only had it a couple
When I
times.
was
I
in
probably
high
only had it a couple
school,
times too, Ty.
when I was in high school, we used to play softball every day at Loomis Field, in Lawrence Park. Loomis? No, not Loomis. What's the
Russell?
Lawrence Roadhouse? Is it Loomis
That's Loomis.
Elementary?
Yeah, that's Loomis.
Loomis Elementary with a beer ball
Loomis
every
Leopards.
day after school, and then after it was finished, we were done playing softball. We would have beer ball tag.
So beer ball was what, like 2 cases, pretty much? Like,
Yeah,
give or
well,
take.
it had to be in between a case and a half keg,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
like
assume, right?
I
Yeah.
remember it was $14.
$14 for a beer ball. So you guys are wheeling out the beer ball. I thought it was just a cool little take on your entrance.
No, that was me. I brought that beer
That
ball.
was your beer
No
ball.
shit. I didn't think it was Beulah.
Yeah, no.
No, that was. You notice Tommy's like pouring beers out of it, and then he gives a beer to Rick. But
Yeah.
then Rick hands him another cup back.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird too. So you guys are all in the ring, and then Rude from the announcer's perch says, "You want to talk about my company? They got a partner, you piece of shit." And the crowd goes absolutely nuts, and they start chanting for Rude. So Rude, Jerry Lawler calls him a gimp and a cripple. Rude drinks a beer, and then he pours a little bit over himself. And so you guys are right there in the ring. The crowd I think the crowd really does believe that they're going to get this.
Oh, now I'm thinking, oh my guys, sorry. We are getting our asses handed to us.
But do you think, like, watching this again, the crowd, it did seem like they thought they were really going to get this.
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm just telling you what I was feeling right then and that
You're just going to
exact
get your
second.
shit kicked out of you.
Yes.
Well, that's why they did the whole Rude said, I just signed a 2-year
Yes.
contract. That's why they had that segment so he could be plausible as
Right.
their
Great
partner.
point.
And the heat
Great
is
point,
the
Tom.
heat's right there. And right as the bell rings, Rude just clotheslines Tommy Dreamer for the double cross, and then it's just on. Rude then slams Beulah into the cage on the outside. They lock the door.
Got Juice the hard way.
Yeah, he slammed her into the
Yeah,
cage.
Beulah got Juice the hard way there.
And then he's just throwing.
ECW.
It is ECW.
ECW.
So they're just throwing chairs into the ring, and they're just going to work on you guys. A couple people try to make saves at one point. Terry Funk comes out to make the save, but then he gets jumped by Triple Threat.
Dude, he was out there for so long.
That was a
It
colossal
incredible.
clusterfuck
Oh,
around the
yeah,
outside
it was
of the ring.
incredible.
It was. So then they handcuff Dreamer to the cage, crucifix style. They crotched him. And then Lawler just claws him right in the dick, like right. I don't like after all the pain that he probably had, it probably still hurt a bit, man.
Yeah, the old cock squeeze.
Yeah, the old cock squeeze, bottom of the pile.
I guarantee you, Lawler was not touching him.
Right. No, it was just great heat. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a shoot hand job.
Van
Right in the middle of the ring.
Van Handy.
Yeah, that was a Van Handy right in the middle of the ring.
That's the name Ty had last week. It was
Yeah.
great. So then they handcuffed you to the cage as well. They were destroying you. So just
I was like, no, don't. There's going to be iconography about it.
that's a great line.
I don't think I've ever even said that word. Was that an actual word?
Yes, it was.
All right, good job,
Religious iconography. Okay, way to go.
I'm doing the Barry Horowitz,
Yes.
tapping myself on the back shoulder.
So then they're just beating the shit out of you guys. Finally, Taz gets in the ring, and RVD and Sabu both ran away.
Yes.
And then they left Lawler by himself. Taz choked out Lawler, but then the Triple Threat ended up attacking him. And then Rude left with Francine in the Triple Threat. And that was the angle, man. Like, you layered in so many different things over the last couple episodes that we watched. Now you have Rude with Triple
Not a
Threat.
pay-per-view, the last couple episodes, just saying.
It wasn't a pay-per-view. It was a show that you guys did, and it was hardcore TV.
This guy.
This guy. So then this was setting up a future match for you guys. Obviously, just incredible heat here. Any memories of being in this angle and this match? Did you feel bad for like bait and switching the audience a little bit, or did you feel as if you guys gave them enough anyway, like they went home happy?
I never left the arena thinking that I didn't give them enough.
Right, like
Myself.
you didn't give them like a match, so it's
Don't matter.
It doesn't matter because you gave them all this stuff, and
But that was like ECW back then. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It was more heat than like the match. I don't think would have mattered as much as what they did.
right.
Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, you're
Hey,
totally
why
right.
kill ourselves for 25 minutes when we can start at minute 26 and end at minute 28?
Yeah. No, it was just
You know,
it was just a wild, chaotic scene, man, and it's all building up heat and everything. It builds up to Tommy Dreamer and Jerry Lawler having a match down the road. Just really tremendous stuff, and I just thought some really good booking there. The next show was Rude doing promo with the Triple Threat. They're now from Buffalo, and they're going over the heel turn. And I guess the story is that Shane finally gave up Franny so that Rude would join them. And Rude does his dance. Wasn't to the hard cam, but then Bam Bam Bigelow points him out in the right direction. They got great heat here. I really wish we got to see more of Rick Rude in ECW because it just seemed like a perfect fit.
Dude, it wasn't like Rick was going to fucking spot you to death, or you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was a 1970s match.
I know, but like I wish we got to see him in ECW longer because his risque promos and kind of the stuff that he could do kind of would have been great to see in ECW over like a longer period of time.
It was a perfect match.
Yeah, it really was. It really, really was. Then we got a recap of the angle again, and then Taz backstage told Tommy, "You want a partner? You got one." So Taz finally tells him he'll be
Yeah,
his
for
partner.
some reason, his balls and Axel like at Tommy's side for whatever reason.
They were his like bedside guardians there in the backstage. Yeah.
They were his ball watchers.
I'm a ball watcher. I'm a ball watcher. Watching balls go by. My, oh my. Sorry, guys. That was a 1965 great hit.
Okay, I'd never heard that one before. Ball.
Seriously?
The ball watcher.
I'm a girl watcher.
Oh,
Was
girl
it?
watcher.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, obviously I plagiarized it.
Up next on the show was RVD and Wild Billy Wiles. Any memory of Wild Billy Wiles, Hack?
I remember him.
I don't remember.
But then I
much.
remember him. But
Yeah, nothing really. It was just like a showcase match for RVD.
you were.
He could work, yeah. And then you got a hype for Joey Styles for the Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view coming up on August 17th. And then we just got like kind of a montage of clips of a number of different matches. Mikey Whipwreck and Barry Hardy. So Barry Hardy was a pretty big jobber in the early 90s WWF. Any memories of Barry Hardy, Hack? None.
Hey, didn't I just say I was him?
Barry Hardy?
Yes, I was.
That's Barry Horowitz. It's a different
Oops.
jobber. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he might have been Matt and Jeff's long lost brother, the Jobber Hardy.
He's their great uncle.
Yeah,
Do you think there's some relation there? I don't know.
yeah, Jobber Hardy.
Yeah, so Mikey picked up the win there. There was clips of Triple Threat versus Spike, Chris Chetty, and Nova. It was just kind of a showcase for
Fast
Triple
forward.
Threat. Yep. And then Louis Spicoli and Kronos, John Kronos. Kronos did the handspring elbow, and then he finished him with the 450. Again, these are just kind of things. Clips of RVD and Sabu were jumping Dreamer with Fonzie. You were laid out prior, according to Joey. They hit a Rolling Thunder on Dreamer, and then Taz's music hits. They're setting up a huge pop for the save. Just kind of more stuff, just clipped on this stuff. They had more clips. This time it was Bubba and Balls Mahoney. They were fighting out on the outside of the venue downstairs. I was like, man, what the heck? Where? I think they were in Buffalo at this point. They were talking about. And then back in the ring, Big Dick Dudley got hit low, and then Balls took
In the
him out.
big dick.
Yeah, he got hit in the big. He got hit in the big dick, and then he got hit with a big chair shot. The Dudleys then hit a 3D onto the chair, splashed by Bubba on the chair, and then out came New Jack to clear the ring. Then the show closed with another Pulp Fiction style promo. First with RVD, Sabu, and Fonzie, and then Chris Candido. I thought this was awesome.
I thought, well, back to the RVD and Sabu one, the hilarious one was like, yeah, you know, I'm scared for you, Sabu, or whatever. And then Sabu's like, what? And he's like, no. Like, you're gonna beat Sandman. Like, you'll be fine. I already know his game plan. He's gonna drink. He's gonna smoke.
Yeah.
And like that was it. Like, and he was just that I thought was like super hilarious.
Well, that was Hack's game plan there for most of the matches.
He's like, I got his game plan. He's gonna drink. He's gonna smoke.
And he's gonna.
And he's gonna be sweating out toxins and all this other shit he said.
Yeah, it was good, and I love the fact when they did these like Pulp Fiction style promos. They were just like ran together, short burst promos. Nobody's going over like more than a couple minutes, and they all hit like the high notes, but it all kind of blended together. You don't have the music, the official music of like just picture the music of the opening.
Yeah, and sometimes they were like scenes,
right?
You know, like and more of like a promo, like it was like a blurb, like a scene, almost. Like.
It was just brilliant, like utilizing the limited budget that they had and everything. Just
the best there were when they were playing that freaking like Mexican music.
It's the Pulp Fiction song.
It's the Pulp Fiction music.
That's what these are called, the Pulp Fiction promos.
Yeah.
Oh no, they were great.
They were fantastic. And
nobody's doing a minute in them.
Just 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Then Chris Candido was out next, and he called out Taz. And man, he was looking yoked here at this point, rocking the no gimmick needed hat. I love Chris Candido, man. Like he is an he's doing that motion time. Exactly, man. And you can one of the things with Candido, you can really see the influence on MJF with him. Like a lot of the shtick and the heel stuff is just like shelling ass and being kind of a little goofy, but not quite. Like
I never really thought about that, but that's actually a good point.
Dude, he's a huge MJF is a huge Candido fan.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
seriously?
Yeah, he is.
I can see it totally.
Yes,
yeah. Now that you say
I can see it, especially after the fucking match last night.
Yeah, he's a huge Candido fan, man. He's lifted tons of spots from him and stuff. And
okay.
Yeah.
So if he's a Candido fan, then dude, Chris would love it on house shows to pop the wrestlers in the back that were watching. He knew that he had to do it because that was his thing, you know what I mean? And everybody knew he was going to do it, so they wanted to watch and like peeking their heads through the curtain. He would love to pop the boys in matches.
He was just tremendous, man.
And get you to laugh. If you're working against him, he wants you to laugh. If he makes you laugh, he's like, yes.
Well, I was laughing when he was doing like the Taz imitation in this promo, just like the crossing the arms and stuff. He's just goofy and like naturally funny without even really trying to be super funny kind of guy. I was always such a big fan of his. And then he was saying, I choked you out before, I can do it again. I had to get it myself by charging in the cage and choking you out. And he called out Taz for not yet signing the deal, and then he opened the locker, and then Taz signed it in blood, which was just like a little over the top. And then they cut to a Taz promo on Candido, and he said, I signed your death warrant in my blood. And that was Taz's promo there. And then the show ended with a New Jack promo that got interrupted by the Dudleys jumping him. So all this stuff going on in ECW is a really interesting time in the company, and that was our topic this week. Hack, any memories of working this program and angle with Jerry Lawler that just to kind of recap here?
No, I was just happy to be in the ring with him.
Yeah?
Honestly, because I went down there and did his shit, and then he comes up here, and I'm like, all right, dude, you taught me a lot. You know what I mean? Over the ring with
it's
you
like
now.
just came full circle.
Sensei.
Everything full circle, like came full circle.
Sensei.
Yeah? No,
I told you guys so much I learned from him. I learned how to relax and call shit just out there.
Yeah, so super cool.
That was the greatest. Yeah, that literally elevated me to. In those 3-4 months that ever I was down there, I wouldn't have gotten probably for another 5 years still doing indie. Well, not knowing that ECW was going to be taking off and shit like that. But when they were taking off, I would have still been an infant if I hadn't done the shit with Lawler before ECW started taking off.
Yeah, no.
Because remember, I come back from USWA and Paulie's got the book. Boom. First night, break the surfboard over your head, kid, that's gone.
No, it's like invaluable, like hands-on experience, learn by doing, and really just like so
I
cool.
was so much more confident, like literally 10 times more confident going into the ring after having those 10 matches with Lawler. I was so much more confident. I'm like, dude, you knew this shit.
Yeah.
You get this.
Yeah.
Go out and do it now. Like, I just showed you how.
It's a shame that like Memphis doesn't exist to this day for wrestlers to get that start in.
Because Lawler taught everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. 90% of the top guys ever in the business went through USWA and worked with Lawler.
Yeah. No,
They literally did.
yeah.
It's just the way it was.
No,
From
you-
Sid Vicious, Lex Luger, I mean,
Hogan,
guys like that.
Austin, The Rock even had a cup of coffee there. Like,
All of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
no, it's so cool. And
Lawler's footprints are all over this business.
they absolutely are. And like when we were doing the Mount Rushmore show, Lawler didn't quite make it, but he was like one of the guys I was considering because
That's funny that you said that because I was thinking that
Really?
Earlier when I was watching this shit. I was like, damn, Hack. Oh, it's the same thing the police officer said to me. We'll get around to him, the accident today. But he was like, the Mount Rushmore, I love that episode. He goes, but it's so hard.
it was impossible.
Yeah, it's just to narrow it down to 4.
Yeah. So that was our show this week here. Next week we are going to be reviewing a pay-per-view hardcore. I'm sorry, no, ECW Heatwave 2000. This was certainly an interesting card, and there was the XPW contingent in the front row, Hack, that tried to interfere in the show. So
Go to
I
clown.
think they got the shit beat out of them.
we'll be talking about that next week on the
I
show.
sent them. I was the one.
Wow, we'll have to
I
get
was
to
standing right at the curtain. They didn't go. Nobody. They wanted to go like a minute before,
we'll get
but
to
I
this.
knew how to wait for the time.
We'll get to that on next week's show. As always, we have listener questions. Send them into sandmanpod@gmail.com. First up here, Maddie from Havertown. Maddie G here, original Haver Clown from Havertown. You know, one of the original members of the Hack Pack Brothers. First and foremost, phenomenal job with the podcast. You all do a great job of keeping all of us listeners entertained.
Yeah, I hold the shit together.
Yeah, you
These guys are just like, bleh.
The Elmers of everything.
Thank you and keep up the great work. Hack, if you were an active wrestler in the business today, which wrestler would you like to work with the most? One from AEW and one from WWE.
Osprey easily, only because Omega is like not like her right now.
Dude,
And-
could you keep up with Osprey?
He could work with a broomstick, so he could work with a case of beer.
Okay.
That's true.
All right, listen to me, you idiots. I could have all right, I ain't doing an hour with him, but easily I could be MJF like he did that. I could work his arm. I would never work his leg. Just I can't take his legs out from under a dude
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's stupid because he's gonna beat me using his legs.
Yeah.
You know, so I could take out his arm, but yeah, I could hang 20 minutes with him.
All right, Osprey, and then one
Who
from
from
WWE.
WWF? Yeah.
Randy.
Randy.
Easily.
Okay.
Did you ever work him?
I would say no, but who knows?
Right.
Well, we'll
You
have to
know
check
me.
Cage match.
I'm not thinking one-on-one. I'm almost positive you never did one-on-one, but maybe
Yeah,
in
shared
the
ring time with him or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, I don't know. He also adds, I absolutely hate the heat as much as you do.
What?
He hates the heat
The
as much as you
temperature,
do. The
the hot,
temperature.
yeah.
I got you a little gift I'll send you. Let's call it a late B-Day gift. You old prick. I'll get with Tosh and figure out how I can get that to you. Cheers to 99 bananas. All right, Maddie. So you're going to
Cheers.
Yeah, you cheers. You got a little gift for you, Hack. So
I've already drank it 3 during this episode. I had.
no, he has.
You shouldn't be doing that on your medicine. Dude.
Yeah, with the concussion. And everything.
Yeah.
Up
Oh,
next-
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot about a lot. Up next is Johnny from San Antonio.
Johnny.
What's good, fellas? I've recently discovered unedited episodes of Hardcore TV and have been binging 1995 ECW. When I got introduced to ECW via Hot Cable the summer of 1998, Hack was full-blown over and in one of the best runs of his career. I was instantly invested, but we never had ECW syndication in San Antonio. I never saw Hack's rise in ECW. 95 Hack pops me when he would light up smokes randomly in a match with Woman providing the light. My question to Hack this week is, if he
That's
has...
great. Just, dude, I love it that you say that because you're just trying to do something different.
Yeah.
You know, I love it that you recognize that, dude.
Yeah. My question to Hack this week is, if he has any memories of the Florida Loops and working the roping rodeo arenas in Fort Lauderdale.
Dude, what are you kidding me? Me, Cactus Jack were in Davie Arena, and some dude. All right, so he obviously understands, but I have to get to the rest of the public that a rodeo arena is. You can imagine what it is, but on the like if it was a hockey arena, there would be like boards and like plexiglass. But a rodeo arena, there's like big piped like fences.
Yeah. So
me and Cactus are climbing up one of the pipe fences or something, and somebody grabs me or grabs Cactus or something like that. So that's the biggest thing. And I think Cactus might have fucked him up a little bit.
Oh, shit. Damn.
I was like, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I'm like, nah, I'm not getting sued.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, but that was the only time I had ever been grabbed by a fan, ever.
Well, that's why kind of you're saying don't get fans involved, like you were saying earlier.
yeah, PSA.
Don't let your
that's the-
don't let your 10-year-old daughter chop freaking a main eventer.
Up next is sorry, let me get this. Nate from Colorado Springs.
All right, Nate. Colorado Springs is a lovely place too.
I'm here to talk
Just so
about.
you guys know.
I've never been there. I gotta check.
Oh my
that
God,
out.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I've been to Colorado before. I don't think I've been to Colorado Springs.
All right, quiet.
I'm here to talk about wrestling's hottest women. What's everybody's Mount Fapmore? My Mount
What's
Fap
Fatmore?
Fapmore. Are you talking about? That's what he's.
you're saying
Spanking
fat
the
ass-
monkey
Yes.
What are you saying,
too.
fat ass pussy?
Yeah.
All right, the one you got it. Stacy Keebor's got to be there, right?
Tori.
Tori's got to be there.
Trish. Yeah. Hacks ain't no to Trish.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm thinking about like in my Mount Rushmore, there could have been 8 people. You know what I'm saying?
So the double Mount Rushmore.
Why we should table that?
Okay, can I read his answers for who
Yeah,
he said?
let's hear what he says.
Because all right, his Mount Fapmore goes Sunny. Her hot days, not
Oh
her,
my God.
not her sunny
See,
side
I
up
wouldn't have
days.
thought about her.
She
but
was gorgeous.
Oh my God, she was straight
Absolutely.
gorgeous.
Yes, she was. Trish Stratus has aged like fine wine.
She might
Maurice.
look better now than she did
Who?
before.
Maurice. It's the Miz's wife.
They're-
How did the Miz end up with a fine piece? That's what he commented.
Money.
And then he also included Francine, the Queen of Extreme, always a smoke show. Love the pod. Hope to see Hack again. Yeah, I mean,
that's it. Ollie, any input?
Yeah.
You got your fat pack?
No, Ollie's freaking checked out tonight.
Gorgeous George, definitely.
Oh, that's right.
See, I know
She was
there's
the-
so many.
She was the
Lita.
Lita.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Ladies, dude, the red hair.
Can I give one just because this is an ECW
Okay.
show?
The one you jerk off to the most?
Kimono Wanalea.
Yeah, that's another one.
The night she danced on top of the
Saw
Eagles
that
nest,
commercial a
baby.
million times, man.
Trust me, I was trying to get one of my eyeballs through those peepholes that night. I was trying to get through
An
there.
impressionable youth trying to.
Yeah, if you ever watch that video, check all the holes in the wall behind her and all the eyeballs looking through. Yeah,
That's a great question.
I think one of them might
Yeah,
be
but
mine.
there's still some we're missing.
There are. It's a
There's
fantastic-
couple huge top ones.
Great question, though. Up next is Andy Lawler from Birmingham, Alabama.
All right, roll tide.
Roll Tide. To answer Hack's questions from the last show, yes, I am a real person. Bad.
All right, what did he do? We know what he asked us last time.
You just asked if this guy was a real person when I
Well,
read his
I know,
question.
but he might have had a crazy question.
It was. I can't remember
All
the
right,
question.
let's
off the
hear
top of my
what this week's question is.
head. He said, "Bad weather did not affect us. Thanks for asking. As far
as
schools here, if you're talking college, no idea. Pro wrestling is the only sport I watch. My question for this week is kind of long. Any thoughts
Oh,
or memories
Jesus.
on working for Combat Zone Wrestling and the owner at the time, John Zandig? On his shoot interview, he said disturbingly he had hoped you fell off Cage of Death as you showed up drunk for the main event. What did he expect when you booked the Sandman back then?
Oh, dude, it was great. All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right, listen. That dude is an idiot. All right. Because, first of all, like, people would say, like, Jim Cornette would say, like, oh, ECW's over the top now. But at the end of ECW, Zandig was one of the guys that was doing, like, every match was light to
CZW.
Yeah, CZW started in
like
99.
stupid, crazy shit. So he hires me, Todd. Todd worked this one because Todd's like brilliant. So Todd worked it to get all of us paid. Me, Todd, Big Joe.
Fonzie? Wasn't Fonzie there?
Yeah, probably. He might have been in the ring. So Todd's just working it out to, yeah, dude, I'm good. He's getting all of us a payday just to have us all be together to hand the reins over to him from the ECW arena, one of those things.
Yeah, passing of the torch, kind of.
Yeah, so something turns, and then I'm underneath the ring with a chainsaw. I cut through the... Literally, I'm underneath the ring with a chainsaw. And it's a gas freaking chainsaw, dude. So you roll this thing for... I don't know if anybody can imagine, like, having your mower blowing an exhaust underneath the ring times 5, you know, for like 30 seconds. You'll just get dizzy just like that. So I got to cut my way through the ring. I come out through this box. I forget what happened. But then I ended up showing them up. So... I don't know, I saved Todd Gordon or whatever the freaking angle was, and then I get up on top of his cage, and his cage was tube. It was well, when it says it's 2 inches by 2 inches, it's really nominal. That's what it's called. So it's really 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches pipe. So I'm standing up on the top of the cage, and he's trying to get himself over in the cage. So I start Walindaing myself shit-faced walking across this freaking 2-inch piping. Yeah, so I took the spotlight away from him.
So you
That's exactly what happened.
You tightrope walking on top of this cage.
Shit-faced at least 15 feet in the air. It will be. Because if I slip, I'm not falling all the way down. I can catch myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I slip, I'm slipping inside the ring, not outside the ring.
Yeah, well, fuck you, Zandig. Take that,
Well,
Zandig.
yeah, I took his big thing away from him.
Yeah, well.
And then, well, because none of us even liked him anyway. So, but then afterwards, I knew that I took his big thing away from him, his shine at the end. And then they wanted to do some interviews afterwards, and I just kept going up to him saying, thank you so much, I love you. And I know he is pissed. But I keep doing that to him just to fuck with him, to entertain fucking Todd and fucking Big John.
Well, you're a worker, brother.
Well, no, you gotta entertain your boys.
Yeah, you gotta pop your boys.
See, I don't know, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he is. He's a known idiot.
Well,
so.
alright, sorry. Zandig, dude, you got a company, you made yourself, I hope you made some money off it or whatever, but that angle worked against you, dude. You're Dennis Carluzzo at that point.
Yo. All right. Up next here is John from Boston. A few weeks ago, Hack discussed wrestling in Japan, and it reminded me of a tape I saw where Hack carried an Ultraman doll to the ring
Ultra Sandman.
and saved it from being destroyed. I found a video of the match online. Search Wing 1995-06-04 Curse of the Barbed Wire Bat on the Internet Archive. And it happened during a kendo stick match against Jason Knight. Do you have any more details on this? Thanks, and keep up the great work.
Can he post that on our podcast, whatever he just said?
Yeah, we'll post a link for this. We'll find a link and post it on there.
Yeah, dude. So Jason, great dude. Well, we might have been on the airplane because you gotta understand, like, this is 95-ish. So we meet in Detroit because that was usually you left when you went to Narita Airport in Japan. You left from Detroit or you left from LAX. So we meet in Detroit. We're either on our way there and we're drinking. It might have been the time with the pit bulls. We might have had an ounce of Coke, an ounce of pot on us. You could smoke and literally, I want somebody to hack check this. And row like 35 and 36, you could smoke
Makes
on
no
an
sense. You
airplane.
could have some rows and not the whole
Going
plane.
from Japan to America.
As if the smoke wasn't going to
No, it
still go
stops
through
at
the
37.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But the deal is, all Japanese smoked then. Like in the United States, back in them days, it could have been like 30%, but Japan was like 55% smokers. Yeah, so it's just so ridiculous. So what was the question?
The question was about the Ultraman doll.
You're smoking
yeah.
Ultraman.
Any memories of this?
Oh, yeah.
Get to it.
So, we get there, whatever. Jason's like, listen. He's like, he would talk to you like this. Like he was, like he was a baron from Italy. And he would be like, Sandman, I have an idea for us. This is a horrible rendition, but you can imagine, like the way Joey put him over was the way that he would talk. He would be like Ricardo Montalban, but the sleaziest Ricardo Montalban there was. He would be in the chick's pants in seconds, but that's just how he carried himself. He would never talk louder than this, like Steve Regal shit. Well, maybe if we don't get the chance, you come to my hotel room and you beat me with a cane so I could come back with blood on my back. So, we had no idea we were working to each other, but he's telling me, dude, please, even if it's in his hotel room, come beat the shit out of him with a cane so we can come back to the United States and say, I got whipped. That was his psychology.
Okay.
I know Jason was one of those dudes, you know what I mean? But he was
Ultraman. Nice.
He was totally cool.
Ultraman. No. He's,
All right, now. All right, Ty saying get the frick to the Ultraman story. So, I think I told you guys this. Oh, so it was the cocaine. We had the cocaine on us. We fly into Dorita Airport with an ounce of pot, an ounce of cocaine. A dog comes up and sits next to me, and the fucking Japanese lady goes, I'm thinking I'm busted totally. She goes, do you have any fruit on you? Yeah, I had a banana in my bag. Boom, she's gone. We get into the country. We get into our first buses for Ibaraki. As soon as we get on the bus, I said, Ibaraki, I said, you good if we smoke pot? He's like, yeah, no problem. So we start fucking smoking pot. The first night we're there, we're all cooked up. We're in Roppongi. Now, people have to understand what Roppongi is. Imagine Bourbon Street in Louisiana during the Super Bowl, 365 days a year, 24/7. People would come from all over the world to go hang out in Roppongi. So we're in Roppongi, and all of a sudden we make a turn off to like a side street, and these guys are like, "Oh, come into our club, come into our club." And we're like, well, where's the club? We had to get on our knees and literally crawl through this freaking like little opening on a wall to get inside of their club. Their club was like maybe 15 feet by like 10 feet, absolutely tops. There was a huge Ultraman doll in the club, like maybe 20-inch Ultraman doll. So we started giving them Coke, and then we're drinking and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, dude, I want that doll. He's like, oh, presento. He gave it to me as a present. The next day, I show up at the building with, and Jason the Terrible. You know the guy from when we were signing at WrestleMania, the guy on the left, the hard left of us with the
Yes, we just got a whole entire story about how he speaks and everything like that. So go ahead.
All right. So he looks at me, he goes, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, I'm going to take it out to the ring with me. He's like, all right, go.
and there you go.
I was Ultra Sandman. Dude, it got over huge. You have to understand something then. A little backstory is my first day there, I went down the street to go to McDonald's, and there was an arcade, and everything was old. They had Ultra Grandma, they had Ultra Uncle, Ultra Sister, Ultra Nephew, and then as soon as I saw that doll, I'm like, boom, I'm taking this out to the
There
ring.
you go.
So I'm going out to the ring with a belt around me. I got a freaking Ultraman doll whose legs are like this. I got the Ultraman doll next to me. I got a cane. I have a beer. I have a can you use any more props to get yourself over?
Fucking Carrot Top
somewhere?
over here.
Dude, honestly, I don't think anybody ever had more props than I did.
Yeah, the
At that
over
point.
utility belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like crazy.
Well.
But if you think about it, how many guys have come out with that many props?
I can't think.
Dude, there's like 5.
Yeah, New Jack.
Think
maybe.
about all the stuff you needed in order to get over.
I know. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for these things.
Well, that's hilarious, man. Up next, as always, Kevin from Dayton, Ohio.
All right, Kev, how you say it?
Kevin writes in, Hack, reading over some of the dirt sheets from this time period, do you remember any talks of you potentially working SummerSlam 97? In the Wrestling Observer, it was written that there was negotiations to have you and Dreamer versus RVD and Sabu involved with the Jerry Lawler angle at SummerSlam. Any memories of this?
Nothing ever came back to got down to my level about that.
Wow.
I would have said yes immediately.
Of course. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Could you
I would've
imagine
said
working at
absolutely.
SummerSlam in
Could we?
97?
4 ECW guys and a
Yeah, are you
match.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Boom, let's do it.
I mean, I'm sure Paul was probably trying to angle for this. I don't know how close it ever came to happening.
Are you sure it's even a real story?
I mean,
What? Oh, I would
Well, it's
like
in
to
the
hear.
dirt sheets.
It was in the
I
dirt
would like
sheets.
to hear. I know, but you have to understand. Dirt
Well, I'm not-
sheets are dirt sheets.
Right.
That's why I'm
Which
saying
dirt
I don't know.
it was
That's
in
what
the,
I'm saying.
it was in the
Who
Wrestling
knows if it's
Observer
true or not?
I'm sure Paul was talking to him at the time. I don't know the
Yeah, but I
don't know the validity of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How close it actually came to
Sounds
happening.
sketchy to me, too.
I mean, you guys were working
mean,
on Raw. Like, it's not that far fetched.
what year?
In 97.
The same
You
year.
guys
How
had
much
done-
were
And
we
the-
on Raw?
You
Well,
were on
no,
Raw
but with
one
the
episode
Lawler
or two.
angle,
Yeah,
you
with
could
the
marry,
Lawler
you
angle.
could marry the two.
Right. It's plausible. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely plausible.
Right. Like, it would be
They might have worried about us stealing the show.
you guys
No,
would've-
seriously.
I can only imagine what you would have done on pay-per-view if you got the opportunity. Like
Right, you kidding me?
you probably would have just jumped
Like
off
with
the highest.
Lawler and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, Lawler's credible as hell, obviously, at that point. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
like,
So
What are you
anything
kidding me?
like
I'm in.
yeah.
Come on.
I wish this actually happened. So, like, that would have been super, super cool. Up next week on the show, as we mentioned, is ECW Heatwave 2000.
a pay-per-view.
A pay-per-view.
Oh
You
my
can find
God!
it-
Finally,
You can find it on pay-per-view easily. You can find it very easily on Peacock. Don't worry. But before we go, Hack, the cane of the week and the toast of the week.
All right, Ollie, I'm going to ask you, what do you think and it has nothing to do with pro wrestling. What's my cane of the week?
Ooh.
Both you two. I'm asking.
Your cane of the week.
It's pretty obvious, guys. Come on.
I got a lot of.
The Trump shooter?
Of course! Good job, Ollie. Of
go.
course.
There you
Are
go.
you kidding me? It's not the Trump shooter. It's the fucking Secret Service that's supposed to be protecting him. Are you kidding me? We could get it. I know Tosh is rolling his eyes right now. But,
I don't want to.
but dude, just watch what comes out. There'll be Senate hearings, and there's going to be major people fired. But it was gross misconduct by the
Well, yeah,
Secret Service.
we don't ever want to get too political, but when somebody who's running for president gets assassination attacked
I have
on
to
them, I mean,
mention
that's
You know, looking at the timeline of everything that went down, I was like out at the bar and I was just looking at my phone. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Are you fucking serious? And then when you looked at, I saw something in the news the other day about the timeline involved, and it's like, it's crazy that they had 20 minutes in between the time. They should have evacuated everybody, and they should have just gotten this guy taken out. They should have just arrested whatever. Just super
Dude, it
unfortunate.
was a setup.
Ugly,
It was
ugly.
a blatant setup.
I don't want to get into all
Here's-
that, man.
but
and
it
stuff.
is.
But
Oh,
I-
well, and it'll all come out.
Yeah,
No, I
hearsay
don't wanna-
this, that. The Secret Service lady wouldn't give him the go to take the guy out. Apparently, I don't know how true that
Who
is.
knows?
Whatever it is.
Who knows?
Do you have a toast of the week? That was a cane of the week. Was there the toast?
Yeah, for Donald.
Throwing up the fist.
Maybe dude, that picture is going to go down maybe as iconic as JFK's son when he stands there and salutes his dad when he was like 4 years old. Dude,
I mean,
that
it will stand the test of time.
Many.
No, do
50, I
not
saw
cut
the
us off.
memes.
Listen to me. There has been a president before that has served more than 2 terms. There has been a president before that has served how many?
3.
He won the 4th, but he died in March. So he took the inauguration in January, and then he died in March. So yes, Roosevelt, you can change politics right now. Trump is our president until he's dead.
God. All right.
He
As
is.
always.
Oui.
He is.
All right, guys. We will talk to you next week here on the show, ECW Heatwave 2000.
Peace.
Ain't it foggy outside? All the planes have